Hello and welcome to the Gulag. I'm your host, Young Nazbo 420. I'm here with Simon the Sassy Sasquatch and some racist podcaster. Oh.
Yeah.
So, Simon, I'm gonna let you take the lead here, bro.
Oh, okay. Well, well, hello and welcome to the Gulag. I'm honored to be on, as always, with the lovely Saxon Neat on Twitter and at Actual Racist. This is, I think, the first time. Well, not the first time we've had a guest. We had a guest last time. Dang it. This is the first time that I don't know. I think Saxon, where do you want to go with this? Do you want to go into?
We got so much we could talk about. I want to talk about incel terror. I want to talk about
Incel
roasties.
terror.
I want to talk about pit bulls. All the terrors
But
of modern
but
society.
first, we should introduce our good friend Bryden. Bryden, how's it going, man?
Going great. Thanks for having me here on this wonderful Mexican holiday. Put some cheese on your tacos because the Mexicans don't do it right.
It's true.
It's true, so
It's true.
true. You know, Trump Tower does have the best taco bowls, and we're having a great day, fellas.
Dude, I love Hispanics.
I don't even know what Cinco de Mayo is. What are you celebrating today, my Hispanic viewers? Oh, we don't have any of those. Fuck.
Isn't it like a war or something? They won or lost, or I don't know what they're up to over there. But
I was just posting some conquistador having QTGF Mexican girlfriend memes, and people were getting mad at me, so maybe it has something to do with that.
it's just the day for thick Latinas, dude.
All right,
yeah.
Simon, tell the audience about our guest, what he does, who the fuck he is.
Well, I think the best person to explain exactly what he does or who he is would be our guest himself. Take it away, Matt.
Do a podcast. It's called Right to Bryden. Spicky and I talk about the news and make fun of minorities, basically, and talk about food and the weather, all the best things in life.
The weather. Fuck, we need to expand on weather. That is a good topic.
Thank you for your service. You know, that actually sounds like, like what a normal radio broadcast would have been like 50 to 100 years ago. You know, food, the weather, making fun of minorities, the news. It's good. It's good.
All right, tell me your take on the incel question.
Sure. Yeah, I can. I told you I had something on that. When it comes to, okay, you've got these incels, as they're called, which I think is largely more of kind of an inside joke, and it's very funny that the media now has to say Chads and Stacys and incels and supreme gentlemen and all of these things. But they're playing a pretty dangerous game. Because when you have Ellen Powell, the former CEO of Reddit, tweeting out things like, "Hey, tech companies, you're just probably incels within your company," what she's doing is calling for firing these people, and they already, let's be honest, have it rough enough. The way that white men are just kind of shit all over anyway in society. You have the whole, just go play video games, fuck it. They don't want to have anything to do with you anyway, and now that they're doing that, the feminists came, they ruined video games. They're like, fine, whatever. Still trying to just stay away from these people. They're being targeted, or will be targeted at their jobs, and they're being targeted for saying, like, you don't get fucked, you nerd. What they're going to do is eventually piss off somebody who's not some low IQ, Allahu Akbar type of fella. Or Canadian, which is basically the same. And you might run into some serious problems here because you're going to have some very frustrated, very smart, young, angry men in their 20s who aren't going to be allowed to get jobs because, like, the HR department or anybody, these are typically just tech nerds and what have you. They're not going to be able to pass these interviews. They're going to be pretty much barred from the tech industry, which that may be the whole plan all along, is let's get rid of all of the quote unquote incels and then replace them with minorities and women and things like that. I just don't think that pissing off the 4chan folks is necessarily a great thing when these are going to be guys in their early to mid-20s, who are very, very bright, very resourceful. It isn't a terrorist organization as of yet, but I wouldn't. Nerd rage is real, and I really wouldn't want to bring it upon myself.
I think we're going
Well
to see
said.
lots more incel jihad in the future. I think this is most definitely not a one-off thing. And I guess Elliot Rodger was the first one. And the Happas, they're a powerful race, folks. You don't want to mess with them. And incel Happas, it's dude. What isn't it like r/Happas are like all these self-hating like half Asian dudes?
It's true.
And I guess they're all
It's true.
incels.
I think the catalyst for this event in some ways can be traced back to Ellen Pao herself and the banning of the r/incel subreddit. If the blood's on anyone's hands, I would put it on the hands of Redditors. That's my view. Because joking aside, these many of us I think have been incels or are incels in one way or another.
Or
maybe not to the full
Volcels,
extent.
like myself, the Chad Volcel.
Or we tell ourselves that we're Volcels,
It's like cry in the corner.
And I think that this whole thing where you see everybody on all sides of the media, left, right. You got Ben Shapiro making fun of incels, and then you have like Comedy Central doing skits about incels and this sort of thing. These people, and many of these are us. We have been being pounded down by these people in the media and the conservatives and the left wing and in the comedy, like this whole like entertainment establishment. Just when you think it can't get worse, they directly target the people in the society who are feeling the most isolated, the most lonely, the most damaged in a lot of ways. I mean, whenever the next incel terror attack happens, if it happens, when it happens, I am not going to feel sorry at all for these people who, much like what happened in the Parkland shooting, where the kids that got on TV had bragged about bullying the shooter, you're going to see this thing happen again, where you have these people who are very much isolated, atomized on the fringes of society that are being pushed and pushed and pushed by all elements of the society around them. When they crack, I really don't think anyone's to blame except for this, anti-white, anti-male, anti-incel establishment.
The anti-incel establishment.
It's true.
They're going to start printing that though. Like they're gonna. The newest conspiracy from the neo-Nazis is the anti-incel establishment. It's right around the corner.
It's true. Alex Jones was already talking about the Supreme Gentleman Elliot Rodgers. When is he going to start linking the anti-incel media to the globalists?
Sure. And Alex Jones, I'm gonna be honest, fellas. I think he is like secretly an incel because he doesn't have a wife anymore. He got divorced, and I mean, he's got a Chad build. All right, I'm not gonna lie. He's got like the Mussolini barrel chest, but I don't think there's many ladies into the Alex Jones aesthetic. He's too hardcore. He's too scary for these ladies, and I think he's probably gonna become a very good ally for the incels. He's already putting like Ben Shapiro in a headlock. And it's only a matter of time before he goes for the rest of the anti-incel establishment.
That's a pretty good theory because I just can't picture Alex. I mean, I know he's got a kid and stuff, but I just can't picture Alex Jones. I don't think many people would want to, but mid-coitus. Like, what does Alex Jones' dirty talk sound like? He's like, "Oh yeah, give it to me there. The frogs, they're turning gay."
We're breaking through the conditioning.
Oh man, no, I can't do an Alex Jones yell at the moment. It's a little late for that, and I got neighbors. But I think we've seen his O-face before on Infowars streams, and at least his vinegar strokes. But it's he might be done. He might be done after this last Jewish wife.
Oh, I didn't know she was Jewish. That's pretty epic.
Man, you see the way that she took him to court, man. There was no way that she wasn't of the tribe.
Dude, God bless Alex Jones. What a sweetie. We don't deserve him.
Yeah. No, I would like to go with the incel theory for Alex Jones, but I think if anything, he's Volcel. If you look at the way that he acted with the ladies in his office, I don't know if you guys followed the current lawsuit that's being put against Alex Jones by one of his former employees. This is this black woman that he had on last year, and she's alleging that he would like come up behind her and like grab her ass and like call her like sweet chocolate or spoon and stuff.
I hope that's true.
She's saying that one time Alex Jones like went up, grabbed her ass, and then said to everybody else in the room, who wouldn't want a black wife? I would want a black wife.
Absolute madman. Dude, he's
I'm
going
not
for the
joking.
Trump tactic, you know? He's just grabbing them, dude.
It's true. It's true.
Hey, Alex Jones' Infowars Workplace seems like an interesting place because another part of that lawsuit is apparently he just put gay porn as a desktop on this guy's computer. And, like, the guy's like, fuck this and taking him to court over it. So,
I feel like being in the InfoWars office would feel like a war zone if you're, like, not insane. You'd just be like, I feel like you get, like, shell shock. You, like, always, like, you know how, like, women who've been battered, you know, you raise your hand, like, they might flinch. I think that's what it would be like, being in the InfoWars office.
True. True.
God bless him.
every time I see Roger Stone on Infowars, though, I think, like, didn't you used to, like, do things now? And then now you're on with the guy who's like, oh, yeah, the world's a simulation. And then Mike Cernovich has to sit there and awkwardly be like, of course the world's a simulation. And because he's got to go along with it. And then you get Owen, what's his face on there?
Owen Schroer, yeah.
Yeah, they just got him off the street because he was like got
the Carl the Cuck footage and the AIDS Skrillex, yeah.
Yeah, it's just luck into that great job. You can get sexually harassed by Alex.
Hey, if the pay is good, if you get to be on the air on the most prestigious news television show, I think I would do it.
What exactly do you think, like normal people right now are talking about incels, which I find insane that this timeline is so crazy. Like, normie friends that, like, maybe just catch the news, like, on their phone or whatever, are saying shit about incels to me, and my friend called it a hate group. So I wonder, so after, like, people decided they hated the alt-right, they started, like, doxing people, getting fired for their job. Are we gonna start doxing people who don't have girlfriends, getting fired? Like, is that the next course?
I hope so. Because I think you're going to just see these people get more and more and more radicalized. Look, if we have this whole underbelly class, because we talk about the workers' revolutions of the proletariat, there's no more class structure. Wealth has pretty much been equalized. Now what needs to be distributed is the GFs. There's this underbelly of incels in our society, and I think we need an incel revolution.
Hey, I've thought for a while, the wage gap, not real. The pussy gap, very real.
Very real.
Very real.
It is real. We saw that graph on the TL the other day. That was like men ages 22 to 35 in America, like 20% are celibate, and it just keeps going up and up. And that is going to cause a problem. And sex bots going to be the solution? Maybe not. Are women going to be replaced? Let's hope so.
Dude,
women
well,
are being
I know that.
Oh, go on.
One of our favorite Twitter followers, or not followers, or favorite Twitter friends had a very interesting take on this. They were saying that, that simply to get rid of the incel problem is that they should all have sex with traps. I think you retweeted this person, Saxon. Why don't you tell us about that?
Oh fuck! I did see someone. I don't think they were talking about traps. They're saying that I saw some verified journo or something, like, not even joking, saying that incels should have sex with each other if they can't have it. Like, yeah, we should all go to hell so that we can bust a nut. That's a great idea.
Well, I mean, I was referencing.
This is such a utilitarian. It's just such a utilitarian response to that. It's just like, I don't know. We got all these virgins. What? Throw them in a room, like, bang it out, guys. You'll be fine. Get rid of some of that white nerd rage. You'll be all right.
Yeah. I don't think that would work out for them. I really don't think that would work out in the end for anybody.
Well, then we could label gays as a terrorist organization, though. So
that's actually true. If we could just allege that all the gays were actually formerly incels, and that's how they became gay. We could turn the people against the gays. This could work out in our favor. Someone needs to get on this propaganda.
Why is it there's a Muslim terror attack? It's not all Muslims. Incel terror attack. Every dude that hasn't busted a nut in the past 8 months, we gotta lock him up. Gotta force him to have gay sex. Like, what is this world coming to, boys? It's just everything's insane now, fellas.
That's true. Unironically
I
true.
do think this is a simulation. I don't think any of this is real. And the Sims managers, they're having a good time. They're blessing us with lots and lots of great content.
You know, I was actually referencing with the whole trap post the one of my favorite blessings by the sim managers, Rumaru on Twitter, and her take or his take, whatever it is, that they're gonna cure the incel problem by just having sex with all the incels. Well, our good friend, I was thinking about this today. How we've been just so blessed. You know, I believe in God. I'm a Christian, so I believe that God has a great sense of humor. If you believe in the sim managers, I think the same thing applies. We've really been blessed with just the insanity of this timeline. You know, that we have we have the whole thing with incels being in the news. We have it that two separate Twitter memes had collided. You know, with the whole Rue and Lucas thing. You know, we have a lot of worlds all coming together.
I kind of feel like we're in hell, dude.
Well, if this is hell, we're having a pretty good time. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think hell would be this funny.
I disagree. I don't know. All the movies that I've seen with hell in it, you know, Satan's got a sense of humor too. I mean, I mean, you know, not to get like too all serious on it, but no, I sometimes wonder if we might be in hell because what a godless world that we just happen to live in, where this is really the focus of a lot of America right now. A lot of just normal everyday people is like, well, these guys aren't having sex. They're probably going to go shoot up a mall. You know, and it's like, wait, didn't you just spend like the last year and a half saying like, hey, if you have sex with any girl ever, it's rape. So. What do you expect? And then, meanwhile, it's just like, you know, you get over in Sweden, just the ruling that they had there. Some 23-year-old bangs a 10-year-old and, like, is like, no, this is fine. That was consensual. They're not, you know, it's not rape at all. No, it's a crazy world. And the incel revolution can't come soon enough.
Yeah.
I don't look like a Chad, so I think I'll get a pass. They'll be like, hey, I'm like, don't shoot me. I played a video game one time, so it might work.
Wasn't the Arab Spring actually just like an incel revolution, like a Middle Eastern version of an incel revolution? That's what I heard.
When are the incels going to get our own version of Siege? That's what I need to know.
Elliot Rogers made all those YouTube videos, man. They're out there. It's just it's a audio format.
Elliot Rogers is our James Mason. I like it.
Elliot Rogers' videos like seem like a parody when you watch them because they're just so like, I am a god. I am beautiful. I was sculpted by God. And women, they reject me.
Where's the lie?
I mean, dude's not.
That's the weird.
Oh, go on.
Oh, that's the weird thing about Elliot Rogers in general that I can just never get past. It's like, all right, like. Yeah, he was a little weird looking, but, you know, very rich kid, you know, he wanted for nothing and all of that, went to all these Hollywood things. And he was just such a creepy guy that he couldn't get any of that, like, skanky Hollywood thought us, you know? Like, it's maybe his standards were really high. I don't know. I mean, I never got to meet the guy. But it seems like one conversation or like one night out at the bar, it'd be like, Elliot, go hit on her. She's like definitely blacked out. And he'd be fine, you know? He wouldn't be an incel, he'd be a rapist.
Yeah, he wasn't fat, and he wasn't really ugly, and he was rich. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's nuts. And Baked Alaska showed... Oh, go on.
No. I have my own take on this. I think that the problem is that Elliot Rodger really was the supreme gentleman. And women just don't want the supreme gentleman. They don't want a man who will be so kind to them, who will treat them, you know, in a way that he respects them, like how Elliot Rodgers talked about doing. You know, there's that. I always think of that image of Elliot Rodgers. I don't know if he's at a party or something where somebody took a picture of him where he's standing up and he has a champagne glass and he's like tipping it. You know, I have not seen a more sweet, a more pure image in my entire life. Yet, I will say the Eternal Woman would absolutely reject him because they say, oh, you know, he's not black, he's not like a rapist, he's not like this like terrible like person who would be really bad to hang out with or have sex with. I'm not even going to talk to him. He looks like a guy that's going to like when a woman sees a guy who's like respectful and like kind and like all these other sorts of things, they're like, yep, nope, not dealing with that.
You gotta have a criminal record. You have to have injected like heroin in your
You have to own a
butt
pit bull?
using toilet water. Definitely a few pit bulls that have
And,
killed a few children in the past, but you.
Yeah, Elliot Rodgers was too pure for this world. He was too pure for the women. I think that's my take.
It was certainly something. That one's going to baffle me forever. And then the backlash from it. That you guys remember the hashtag Yes All Women and how fucking irritating that was. Because they made it about them, didn't they? You know, they really made it about them. You know, he didn't rape anybody. He just he was a man ahead of his time. You know. So,
Oh, Elliot.
Poor Elliot. Pour one out for
And
my,
this new guy, he was like
Elliot.
a cat boy, right? He was like a Armenian cat boy.
I did not hear about this part.
Oh, you didn't know he was a
Was it-
cat
was it
boy?
like-
Are you joking? You didn't know?
No. I
Oh,
didn't know
his
that.
classmates reported that he used to, in like high school, like act like a cat and like lick himself and shit. Like, this is an actual news article I read, and I asked Nick about it, and Nick said that America First fans are Volcel cat boys, so he's got nothing to do with it.
That's actually true. I was a Volcel cat boy until I met my lovely lady, and then I'm just a cat boy.
Nice, bro.
I didn't hear the cat boy shit. Oh my
But I do
God.
think
Well,
this
look,
proves that Armenians are actually white, so at least we got that
Yes.
question out of the way.
It's true.
Well, see, I was going to say that neither one of these incel terrorists have been white people. You've had a Hapa and an Armenian. What's going to happen when a white guy does it? That's just the end of it. No sex for anybody ever again. Women, you got to look out because you're done. He'll put a virus in the air. It's when a white guy does it, I think it's all over.
What a
think you're
handsome
right. I
guy.
think you're
You know, he might not have been an incel if he like got rid of the unibrow. That's not a good look. Here, I'll pull up a picture of him on the stream. Fuck, that's so fucked, dude. He's actually kind of got the fuck my shit up fam haircut too.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I thought it was a Photoshop when I first saw it. I thought it was just like straight off the pole.
Alright, I think now we'll bring in our Chad Castizo guest, who's going to tell us about Mexico. We can ask all the questions we want to know. Is it really a scary third world country that people need to escape from, or is everyone there fat? Which they are.
What's yours? Naco ears, Naco tell, Naco yeah, yeah, yeah. Hit my Naco stance, do my Naco dance, curl my fists up in a ball like they was some Naco balls. I holla at your broad, that's a fucking cat call. Naco ears, Naco tell, Naco yeah, yeah, yeah. Naco meet me on my head, got your bitch all in my bed. She look me in my eyes, got your bitch all in a trance. Getting busy with this shit, she can't even tell I'm dead. Naco ears, Naco tell, Naco, Naco, Naco.
Alright, fellas, we're back. We've got our guest here, beautiful.
Inshallah, brother. Yeah. Hello?
Tell me about Mexico. Just tell me everything about it.
It's just a dirt place. It's just dirt. The entire thing. There's no
So,
trees.
is there justification for seeing
Yes, definitely. And there's justification for people to flee back into Mexico as well, from even worse places. But yeah, Mexico's not the best place ever.
worst places like Los Angeles?
Hey, to be honest, in some cases, parts of America are even worse than Mexico, so don't judge me. Yeah, no, Detroit definitely not as bad as the capital. Let's just say that.
A lot of every Mexican kid I see is always Mexicans is always very fat. Fat people in Mexico.
Yeah, okay, so this is interesting to explain. Back in like the 80s or even the 70s, Coke was gaining a lot of momentum in the US, and they spread down into Mexico and Central America, and they started just telling basically like small store owners, if you sell a certain amount of Coke, we'll do all this stuff for you. And they would actually pay for like painters to paint different signs for them and everything, as long as they sold Coke. And Coke became so prolific in Mexico and in Central America that in some areas there isn't enough clean water to go around, so the main beverage that they drink is actually just entirely Coke.
That is
They
so
wash their
fucked,
dishes with
dude. Oh
Coke.
my god.
Yeah.
That's like, fuck. That is horrible, dude. What? There's not enough clean water so people drink Coke. What the fuck? That is like capitalist hell. Also, I'd like to apologize to the audience because I didn't turn the music off for about the first minute of you being in here. So they heard this really cool anime song.
Dude, I heard Multi-Rex in there. Shout out.
Nice, bro. So, anyone got any questions about Mexico?
Yeah. Why don't they put cheese on their tacos? This has been bugging me all day today. What's up with that? The tacos so much better with cheese on them. Do they really not at all just put cheese on any of the tacos down there?
It depends on where you go. It's a regional thing. Like in Chihuahua, they do it all the time. But very up near the border, sometimes the taco stands just don't do it for whatever reason. So, depends on where you go.
Nice, bro. Nice.
And one more question, food related. What does an authentic Crunchwrap Supreme taste like? Because I've never had it.
Well, it's actually the Crunchwrap Supreme recipe was adapted from ancient Aztec mice poundings. And what they would do is they would sacrifice children before every crunch wrap. So it was an unsustainable process for the most part. But the modern day version is made using abortions. So
Sweet.
Very
Oh, I was
progressive.
wondering about Mexico. Is like, it's Catholic, right? But isn't there like lots of weird like voodoo shit in that? What's it like, dude?
So it's Roman Catholic for the most part. I think like 95% or more. But there is like still the indigenous faith hanging around there for in some areas. So you have things like, bloodletting, sacrifices of chickens and stuff. You also have in San Cristobal de la Casa, you have an Islamic population that came down in, I think, the 1800s from Africa, and they have mixed with the indigenous peoples to create some weird abomination of God.
Superhuman race.
Yes, the super Catholics.
Isn't there like people that say they're Christian though, but do like weird non-Christian shit mixed in with it? I thought that was a thing.
Yeah, they I don't know what specifically you're talking about, but they do a lot of wacky shit in some areas. They will like just straight up cut open your wrist and inject snake venom because they think it's like a medication.
Oh, that's
There's some nutsack in there. Yeah, it's crazy.
What about those Guatemalans? Do Mexicans like hate
Ooh.
the border crossers?
Well, here's the thing. As much as dirty liberals would like to talk about how the poor Mexicans can't get over the wall, let's just say that we ourselves have built a wall for the even dirtier Guatemalans to be restricted from. The subhuman category of Guatemalan has long been a rejected third class in Mexican society, lower than even the indigenous people. So, as far as we're concerned, they're subhuman and should all be exterminated.
Mexico's hardcore, dude.
Yeah, I mean, if the cartels just got their shit together and stopped selling drugs, we could, eliminate the Guatemalans. But unfortunately, they're wilding out there. So.
It's epic, dude. Do people want to reconquista California? Is that a commonly held sympathy?
Yeah, as soon as California leaves the union, we're gonna hop on that shit real quick.
That'd be epic. And then from San Francisco, all of Latin America is going to get infected with all sorts of diseases, super AIDS.
Yeah, no, we're actually I don't know if you know this, but we're planning on once we get into California, we're reclaiming the whole thing, and we're just exterminating basically all the inferiors. Mexico has one of the lowest gay marriage rates of the entire world when it comes to legal gay marriage, and it's mainly because we usually kill them after they marry. So, none of that's gonna
Is
happen.
that true? Does that actually happen?
Executions. No, people get lynched in some areas, and a lot of the times it's also the cartels. A lot of the cartels are Roman Catholic, and they go after them if they're publicized. So
why don't we want these people in our country again? Fuck, Mexico sounds lit, dude.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to ask how thick they are down there, but I don't see them. Yeah, I want to know how thick, like how thick are we looking there? But,
how does the Oh fuck, he's out. Did he leave?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask. He's gone. I need to find out. My question will never be answered. I'm gonna have to go myself. I'm like a safari, you know.
Might have scared him, dude.
You got binoculars.
Good information.
Oh yeah.
I wonder what the hell happens in Guatemala. Is that where the caravan came from, or were they from Honduras?
Honduras mainly.
Dude, that was fucking insane to see people just standing on the border, like all these men just standing, like in a serious country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if a bunch of Syrians tried to go into Turkey and they're just standing on the border, they would get shot down, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck is this meme country we live in?
Well, you're obviously not a humanitarian, Saxon. You don't understand. No, in all honesty, though, the caravan thing's kind of it's even if Trump couldn't do anything about it or whatever the narrative is, it's humiliating in a lot of ways. It's that they're able to come in and do this and stand on top of the little fence, just climb over it and wave their flags. It just is like a humiliating defeat for the country to the rest of the world. So.
I just think it's so crazy how many Americans came and stood and supported protests on their side in their favor. Why the I don't know. Just people here don't want borders to exist. That blows my mind.
There's a lot of those people, yes, but as far as it being humiliating for the country, I reject that because there is a kind of essentially a demilitarized zone, a no man's land between the Ballard fencing that heads out into the sea and our actual border. Now, the Border Patrol is in between that. There have only been a few that have been processed. The administration is slow walking these asylum applications, and it's a thing of beauty. Now, if they actually do get completely processed and are allowed in, this will take months and months and months. Many of them, most of them, the majority, are still waiting outside of that fence down there. Now, if they are actually taken, in, they are either put in a detention center, which is not great, or on very rare cases where they are put into the society, they have to wear ankle monitors. Now, whether or not the state of California is actually going to do this, I don't know. I mean, it's supposed to be a federal thing, but they're a rogue state. There has been 57,000 Hondurans with temporary status that now it looks like they've got to go back. All right. The NAFTA thing negotiations are not done. We can weigh heavy with trade, something that the president is able to, put some more pressure on, with the help of Congress, which is, I mean, they're not great. We know that, but we can use that as leverage to say, look, they're in a safe country, all right. You have to take them. It's being slow walked. It's not the end of the world, and that those videos that we see of these foreign people waving foreign flags, and the more that comes out about how they're funded by some radical U.S. run organization. You've got some lawyers in the U.S. like prepping them for their interrogations, really about why they have a legitimate fear and why they deserve asylum. Those people can get into trouble. That's illegal to do. So as long as this is slow walked, this is good. And those videos can be used as propaganda, as we're like, look, this is why we need a wall. It looked like freaking World War Z, man. It was not a good look, and they're waving foreign flags. So it's not the end of the world. We're dealing with the caravan, and there's only so much as the president can do. But I'm not saying the sky is falling. So I refuse to take the black pill on this.
Yeah, that's a really good take. Yeah, I wasn't black-pilled about it either. It was more just the optics of seeing those people on our fence waving the foreign flags that made me angry. I know that basically everything that can be done is being done to try and stop this. So mad respect to President Trump. Big fan, but and really good political. If you want more political analysis, like that, turn into Right to Brighton on. I guess we'll drop your Spreaker link later on. I guess at the end of the show. But very good stuff. What do you think about that, Saxon?
I just couldn't fucking believe it happened, dude. Seeing those pictures and videos of this, just standing on the fence. The fact that they're standing on the fence itself was just like nuts to me. I don't know.
Yeah, not good. Well, we'll pay them back in kind one day, hopefully, maybe.
Well, we already are. We're sending them about 57,000 of the guys that have been here for like 20 years on temporary status. We're like, hey, you wanna bring some in? We'll do maybe 1 in, 6 out. How's that?
We conquered Mexico City once, and we can do it again. Am I right, fellas?
We really should just annex the whole fucking country at this point, and then we'll just be like, hey, you have to go back to, I don't know, we'll find a place.
That is something that I thought about, is that not like kicking them out of Mexico, but like if the American left, right, thinks that anyone from Latin America should be able to come to our country, then wouldn't the more logical approach be that we should just annex all of their countries, right, into our government? Because if their mind is these poor brown people are too, I don't know, I think American like white liberals kind of treat POC like they're animals, honestly, but they say that they're.
True.
I'm not saying Democrats are the real racists, but I genuinely do believe that they like unconsciously view them as lower, which I think is so just nuts. Like the white man's burden, like that poem type thing. And one of you's echoing. I think it's you, Simon.
Oh.
Owned. Anyways, like if American liberals think that these people are so incompetent that all of them need to leave their country and come to ours, why the fuck would we not just annex their land? Like, why is that not being proposed? I mean, if we're going to take them all anyways, might as well.
Yeah, we should. I've always thought that America should really just get the confusion out with like whole North America, South America. We should just completely annex both Canada and Mexico. So it's just like the whole continent is ours. I think that would be
boost your mic back up,
fair.
dude. It's alright.
Okay.
It goes a bit. We'll be fine.
All right. Yeah, no, I think we should retake Mexico, or not retake it, but take it for ours, like in an imperial system, like not necessarily like kick all of the Mexicans out of Mexico. I mean, maybe if we really need the area, but if we could like have an imperial control over Mexico and like Canada and like this fantasy land, it would be pretty cool.
I think in the next 100 years, Canada is actually going to become more of a threat than Mexico, because at least Mexicans don't like commit jihad, right? Because Toronto is like fucking like 70% African and Arab right now. It's gonna be fucking nuts. What happens?
Incels are gonna take care of that. Don't worry about it, dude. It's gonna be war in the streets in Toronto between the jihadists and the incels, just fighting for turf. Like, it'd be amazing.
That would be amazing.
It's gonna be.
I feel like some incels are gonna convert to ISIS when they say you'll get 72 virgins. Wait, wait, hold on. Maybe when ISIS is fighting the incels, that's part of the thing. They're going to you have to kill 72 virgins. That's might be where the beef starts up. We'll see.
This is the hottest take I've ever heard, I think.
I don't think people realize how just nuts the future is going to be. Because people say we're going to be like Brazil, which it's going to be like Brazil. It's going to be more extreme than Brazil. Because Brazil was a bunch of people that were forced to convert to Catholicism and speak Portuguese, right? So they had one. They were less separated than they could be, and then they end up all like kind of breeding together and having a weird caste system. But in North America, especially in Canada, people do like race mix or whatever, but most people they're forming like all these little enclaves and little communities that they don't go outside of, and then in Canada they like specifically encourage that you don't start speaking English. They want you to speak your language. That's why they've got like on government buildings in Canada they got like fucking 20 different languages on a sign that says welcome, and it's gonna be Canada specifically is gonna be fucking insane in the next 100 years, and that'd be a good like plot if someone wanted to write a really cool fantasy novel, like, or maybe the sequel to Blade Runner, like another Blade Runner, could be about that.
Sounds more like the sequel to Turner Diaries, honestly, dude.
It's gonna be epic, dude. It's gonna be like Mexican gangs fighting Islamic gangs, fighting like African animist gangs, fighting Catholics, fighting prots.
Fighting furries.
Incels fighting volcels.
I think that would be. I think you're gonna. I think the future is very bright. I need to put on some glasses.
Gays fighting lesbians.
I think they already do that though, but they just do it a little bit more with like on reality shows. You know, that's what I think RuPaul's Drag Race is about, or that was that other designer show with the bald white guy. Maybe he's Jewish. I don't know. What do they call it?
I have no idea.
Fashion Runway or Project Runway. I think there's lesbians on there. Do lesbians do fashion actually? When flannel gets back in style, they'll get back into fashion.
Well, lesbians aren't real, so I don't know.
It is true.
Well, I think maybe Emma Gonzalez is going to, like, after she's done with the whole school shooting tour, maybe that's her next avenue, is getting into fashion.
Wait, that sounds like such a good band name, Emma Gonzalez School Shooting Tour.
Simon, take yourself up a bit more.
It sounds like a kind of like a shitty local grindcore band that you would listen to like several years ago, you know?
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
Parkland. What a crazy cast. We got Kyle Cash. Is that his name? Kashev? Just owning everybody on the timeline with epic memes. What a legend. And he got in trouble at school because he posted a picture of him holding a gun like last week. That was pretty sweet.
I don't know. He's friends with Ben Shapiro, so...
God, all these people are going to be like political commentators because they used Twitter to get famous from some kids dying. What a crazy...
Dude, my theory is that Kyle Kashev or whatever is just the right-wing crisis actor.
Yeah.
Know?
I mean, it's the new American dream. Surviving a school shooter is the new American dream because you're guaranteed to be rich and famous. Like, all these people are going to write books that are going to sell really well. They're going to continue to be on TV. I'm sure Kyle's going to be working at Fox or InfoWars.
No, that was the most terrifying moment of my life was when I realized that David Hogg is never leaving my life. He's younger than me, allegedly. Well, I mean, he's supposedly maybe 17. I think he might be 25, but I'll keep all of that stuff away from here. But he's never gonna go away. I mean, he's gonna outlive me, and he's gonna be on TV until the day that I fucking die. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it. And Emma Gonzalez's, bald fucking head. She might, she's going to experiment with the lesbianism in college, and then she's going to end up being one of the lesbian till graduation chicks. She might fade out. I could see her going away after a book or two. But David Hogg will be here for the rest of my fucking life, and I just have to deal with it now.
I think it's crazy that they have like a hierarchy, right? Of like who's like the leaders. Like it was just random. Like they all came on social media and were posting stuff, and then like it's set up to where Emma Gonzalez was on the top because I guess because she was the bald POC lesbian, and then David Hogg, and then these other two people I don't even remember their name are like the top ones, and I bet they all like the ones that are below Emma Gonzalez probably like hate her because like she's like she's like 2 million followers, right? Or Emma,
I don't know. They might just be hanging out in Holocaust class together.
maybe.
That was another big revelation there that I think should just be taken as an Illuminati clue or something. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, there's Holocaust class, and I'm like, we didn't have Holocaust class. I mean, what?
Yeah, she has over twice as many followers as David Hogg, the lesbian. So I bet he's like is fucking pissed. I want the attention. I survived the shooting. Me.
After I rode there on my bike, admittedly. Well, one of those followers is Kanye, though. So
That
I
is
mean,
true.
that's a big one.
Yeah, Kanye
You
only
know.
follows 3 people on Twitter. It's Kim Kardashian, Emma Gonzalez, and Candace Owens.
That's
Yep.
powerful.
That is powerful. What a trio. They're the 3 most powerful women on the planet.
And how has Kanye West and DJ Khaled become the last stand of masculinity, tradition, patriarchy? These are the men who These are the men of the West. And you know what? I support DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled's holding it down. It's the key. We the best.
We the best.
Bless up.
They don't want you to succeed. I can. It's God bless DJ Khaled.
I love when he does that. He's like, they don't want you to, and it's just like, are you alt right, DJ Khaled? Like, I hear we're accepting Muslims now these days. That's fine. I heard about Adam Moffat, so you know, whatever. I mean,
Everything he does is dramatic. Egg whites. That's what I eat every morning. On the treadmill. We working out. Self-betterment. Dude, I love DJ Khaled videos. Everyone should follow DJ Khaled on Snapchat if you want to brighten your day a little bit every day.
he does the treadmill thing. He eats egg whites, and he's still 1,000,000 pounds. Like I don't.
Because he's
I
got a
think that-
restaurant, dude. It's called Finger Lickin', and he just pigs out every day.
I just assumed that that's where all the talent and genius was stored in the gut. You know, pea's stored in balls, genius is stored in the gut. So
True.
How does he do it? I'm looking up shirtless pictures of DJ Khaled right now. What a legend.
Oh man, I mean, you got to trust anybody that can navigate a jet ski through the pitch black back to his home. He's something else. I introduced Erica to DJ Khaled. I think it was yesterday. I was like, no, this is the keys to success right here. It's just such a king.
I think it was so funny how like the media was like surprised that this Muslim Arab man like didn't want to eat out his wife because he's a king and she's a queen, but there's different rules for men and women. And like she's got to suck his dick, but he's not eating her out. And people act like I can't believe this Muslim Arab is doesn't treat his wife as an equal. Wow.
Well, you gotta understand. Like, I at this point, I'm concerned. I'm concerned that maybe like hip hop and DJ Khaled especially is more masculine than a lot of elements of the alt right, or like a lot of the.
Oh, it definitely
more
is,
white
dude.
right elements.
It
Yeah.
certainly is. Like all like hip hop is way more masculine than the alt right like defending fucking fashy Volk, mind Volk thoughts, you know?
God. Yeah. I mean, you can't argue with that. That's you really can't. I mean, I don't have too hot of a take on that outside of like, gosh darn it, like the Muslims do get some things right, and you know, we tried the white Sharia thing. All that did was screw Seiko over eventually in the end. But,
Poor guy.
guy tries to make a joke, and then it's like, oh god, now everybody was taking that serious. But I mean, that even goes back to the first original, to like the first point, and I guess this matters here too. It is amazing to me what the media will print and what they will talk, will talk about. They're doing stories on like ABC, and they're like DJ Khaled, the king of Snapchat. You know, they had him like 2 years ago. And it's like, well, I mean, Snapchat. Why are you there's like a huge human trafficking issue in the country, right? Like you're talking about, the keys to success with DJ Khaled, just like let normal everyday people figure that out. We have the internet. We can just look at that garbage all day. The media and journalism in general is going to get so dumbed down to the point that in 10 years they're going to be like, found a picture of a cat on the internet. Here it is. Look at it.
CNN is just going to be Ray William Johnson in like the next 5 years. What's happening for him? Today, Trump Nazi has orange skin. And look at his stupid hair. Hip-hop is the last stand of explicit homophobia in this country. It's the only place it's allowed left. Like, honestly.
It's true.
Well, although there is Lil B, and there's this wonderful video of when DMX first heard about Lil B, and a guy was interviewing DMX, and he goes, well, there's this rapper, he called his first album, I'm Gay. DMX couldn't take it. He was like, what? He's like, he couldn't take it. He didn't understand it, and it was a beautiful moment because it's so rare that I get to see somebody just so confused, but you can tell, like, whatever's in there, the cogs are turning, and he just can't grasp it. And then I think that's the moment that he realized that his style of gangsta rap was dead. Was when a popular guy like Lil B made an album called I'm Gay.
What a legend. Hey, Lil B follows me on Twitter, so I'm not going to counter-signal him too hard, but what a legend.
Lil B follows everybody on Twitter. All you have to do is
that
add
is
him.
True. He's following more people than he has followers. How does he do it?
He's the Tom of MySpace for Twitter, all right?
They should just give him some stake in the company already. Give him some stocks for free.
Little B is a powerful brand, though. I gotta say.
I don't think I've ever heard any of his music.
He did that song about Ellen DeGeneres, and there was a song he made about like wonton soup. Like he basically shitposts in front of a microphone, and people pay him millions of dollars.
These are actual Lil B lyrics from Wonton Soup. First I park my car, then I fuck your bitch. Wet like wonton soup. That's just how I do.
Beautiful.
He's a wordsmith, I mean,
That's true.
he takes that 85 IQ and just does magical things out of it. You know how like the Chinese can make chicken into anything? They've got like coconut chicken, orange chicken. You're like, what the hell? How can you do so much with so much bird? He does so many things with so little words that it's something of magic. He's a genius in his own way. And he's very respectful of the Whammons. But no, I think you're onto something though with hip hop and the gangster rap and all that. Gangster rap's kind of out. I guess it's become trap now, but that's more dancey tunes, and it's like I drink lean and crack house and stuff. But it is much more like, okay, like women are objects, which is so much more traditional than like, oh, we have to respect our, like the beauty of the Aryan woman must never perish from this earth. Okay, pagan, chill out. Let's.
Can we talk about the beauty of that Aryan woman who was on Twitter yesterday talking about like my faith is Vulcan and I am
God!
Vulcan and was like posting the picture of Thor and Jesus.
I don't understand how people become pagans. Like there's not one of these people that doesn't at least have Asperger's, right? Like, I don't know.
Here's how somebody becomes a fucking pagan. They're an atheist, and they want to get more involved and get scene points with the racists. That is literally the only reason anybody becomes a fucking pagan. You're either some denomination of Christian, or you're an atheist, or a Muslim. Again, like there's this whole sect of people that hate Jews so much that they're like, all right, I'm going Muslim now. And that's one way to go. But that's one way to go to hell. There we go. We'll put it that way. But No, I don't believe in pagans. I've met them and spoken with them, and it's much more of the getting in touch with my roots and stuff. And that's another thing that I don't really like about the National Socialism route is the ancestor worship replacing God. I think you're doomed from the start with that. But there's no real fucking pagans, and the fact that she used a picture of Thor tells me that. It's like, oh yeah,
It's like a comic book.
you're gonna have like, oh yeah, I'm sure that's how they depicted Thor was, the Marvel depiction of him.
Oh yeah, haven't you seen the new Marvel movie? What you believe in Jesus? I was at the movie theater last week. There was this Thanos guy. Like that's what I believe in.
Well, to be fair, if you watch the new Marvel movies, it does make you question if there's a god. So, gotcha, Stan Lee, yeah, dick.
Looking at Marvel fans make me wonder if there's a god. Dude, these people are a fucking cult. Like, I tweeted out this video of PewDiePie, like, making fun of them, just because I thought the clip was funny, right? I didn't expect it to go big. It got, like, 600 retweets, but that was just people who liked it. And I got, like, maybe 400 quote tweets from, like, a bunch of, like, fairly sizable, like, over 1,000 follower accounts of people just getting fucking super upset. And I had to lock my account because I had so many retards on my ad. And I went and looked at a bunch of these profiles, and it was like, he/him, or he/they pronouns, and then beside that, directly beside us, I saw this so many times, it said Marvel. Like, these people, Marvel is part of their identity. Watching a fucking movie about a man in spandex flip around. Like, what the fuck? How is being Marvel, like, part of your, like, this is my gender identity, this is my favorite franchise, and they defend it just as much as they defend, like, non-binary gender identity or whatever. It's nuts.
Well, this brings me to a point I've been wanting to talk about, in that PewDiePie released, like, another video bashing Marvel yesterday. He did, like, 3 videos in a row after Infinity Wars, like, making fun of it. And in his third video, he gave a very serious take as to why the whole Marvel franchise is retarded. And he brought up some really, like, good points in that video, and it's been leading me to think that PewDiePie, even outside of his, like, saying the N-word on the pub bridge, or or doing all the Nazi stuff, is actually teaching a lot of the Gen Z, the youngest generation, a lot of really good insight in news and information, that I think that the reach that he's having, the impact that he's having on people, telling people don't watch Marvel movies. They're not good role models. Because and his whole point on that, where these people are idolizing these superheroes who they have these powers and abilities that were basically just given to them. Like Peter Parker was bitten by a spider, now he can do all these amazing things. That's a terrible message for young people, for children, or whatever. Because it's basically like, okay, yeah, you'll randomly be chosen to have this incredible aptitude for thing. It doesn't come from, like, hard work or, like, from any of this stuff. And I think PewDiePie is really having a more positive impact on the youngest generation than anything that the alt-right is doing, than the right wing is doing, than anybody in the media, in the movements are doing. It's astounding. If you're not watching PewDiePie,
I actually ordered some
watch.
PewDiePie merch yesterday, so I'll be posting pictures of that when it comes in. Pretty epic. I do think PewDiePie, I think it was inevitable for him to become our guy, because he was, like, forced marginalized. Before, he was just a normal Swede, just, like, picking mushrooms, what Sweden used to be about. And then his life, he became the face of YouTube just by, like, screaming in a microphone. And then his entire life became under a microscope. And he wasn't, like, a mainstream celebrity. Like, I'm sure he went to, like, parties and shit. But it's like, he's just at his house every day, all day filming. So he's had a very different experience than, like, a normal celebrity would. And he became a face of a company, and then that company decided they hate him. And everyone's attacking him always. That I think it was, like, like him making a joke of him wearing a MAGA hat and watching a Hitler video, which is him calling right-wing people Nazis, is how I interpreted that. That, like, forced him to become right-wing. Which, it's so insane.
It's true. And I had a question for you, Saxon. And PewDiePie made a video where he used a meme from Nazgul Gang. Then he made a video about Givi and about Slavs. His new merch is all about Slavs. And in one of his videos, he was wearing a jacket where the patch was like yin and yang. But instead of the black and white, it was the USA flag and the Russia flag in the yin yang symbol. And I'm starting to think, like, is PewDiePie, like, fourth political theory, like a Dugan pill? Is he actually a Nazgul?
Alright, I'm going to admit it, fellas. My account is actually co-run with PewDiePie. That's why, like, sometimes you'll see my post and they're off-brand. That's him, dude. If you see, like, me say something, like, that's not retarded, it's PewDiePie saying it, not me. And, dude, so, like, what's that Japanese guy in his book recommendation that he did?
It's Mishima, right?
Yeah, whatever. The sword guy. Sword man. Anyways, he recommended this based Japanese imperialist guy's book or whatever. I don't know anything about that guy. I just know people post memes of him. And yeah, I think he's gonna post Fourth Political Theory in like his next PewDiePie book club video, which will be epic. If he's a Duganist.
I wouldn't doubt it because at this point, like, I said at the end of last year, early this year, I'm like, Nazbol's not going to be an ironic thing anymore by the end of 2018, and all it's going to take is good old PewDiePie on there doing the thing, and I'm gonna have to deal with you guys. I'm gonna have to deal with you folks, but you know, you're friendly now.
Dude,
we'll deal with
Nazbol's
it.
epic.
It's something.
Nazbol is the last stand of explicit Eurasian identity.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, Russia, it's like our media tells us that Russia's the enemy, we have to hate him. Let's talk about Russia. Russia's got promoting homosexuality is illegal. Russia has beautiful women, and that's it. There you go. There's the two things.
No, I mean we can go down the Russia route if you'd like. I mean I can
Give
talk
me your
about
takes
how
on Russia, dude.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So here's the thing about Russia. They're not our friend. Okay. They've never really been our friend, and this obsession with Russia and Putin is very frustrating, especially when look, if you're actually an America First person, a nationalist, you want to say, I want what's good for America. Russia doesn't have our best interests in mind. Yes, I want to collaborate with them when it comes to bashing ISIS and getting rid of them and things like that. However, their interests internationally don't align with ours. It'd be nice if we could all dial that back. But when you get Vladimir Putin out of a lot of spite, saying things like, "Oh, I'm going to bomb this over there." I mean, when they debuted the Satan missile, the thing behind him had like some weird radar thing, but it was Florida. Did you guys know this? It was Florida that was like the target. All right, that's supposed. It's supposed to be kind of a. It was a dick swinging thing between them, and we saw this with Syria. With the first strike, we warned them, and supposedly their what was the S-400 shot could have shot down all of those missiles. Well, it didn't. I have it on good authority that it malfunctioned. It would have made we warned them ahead of time. It would have made sense for them to actually debut or display the power of the S-400 by shooting down a few missiles. Nobody was going to die. We warned them ahead of time. That was fine. They didn't, because it's a piece of fucking garbage. Because the Russians will always tell you they have the best things, and they don't. They don't. It's putting glitter on garbage. They've always done it. Now, and actually in January, India pulled out of buying, I think it was the S-400. But now they said, okay, well, we've got the S-300 now. And we're gonna have that, and supposedly there were things shot down on the next Syria strike, where again nobody was hurt, and there were chemical stockpiles there. Now let's take a look at Assad. He said he wasn't supposed to have chemical weapons. That was the agreement. He obviously did. I think the rebels grabbed them and then used them if there was an attack at all. But you know who was supposed to be in charge of making sure Assad didn't have chemical weapons? Fucking Russia. So they failed to follow through with this. And whether or not any missiles were shot down, that depends on which news outlet you tune into there. But they're definitely not our friend. They have similar interest in a lot of ways and different interests in many other ways. So anybody who's going to say, "Oh yeah, Russia great," no, thank you to that. No, thank you. America first, America only, and that's it. This is the only land that I will pledge any allegiance to, even if we do have like a weird, thing. I mean, that's a strange form of brainwashing, but I mean, it's the good kind. It's the good kind. But pro Russia crap. I'm not into it. I can't do it. They're not a great and powerful nation. They're a bunch of dickheads. But I like when they fuck up ISIS. We should do that, and I do hope Assad wins the war. I do, but I don't want to help with it.
Well said.
I just want the USA to stop being gay. Am I right, fellas?
That's yeah.
That's a fair demand. I mean, I guess maybe the reason that a lot of people are turning to Russia is it's at least like homosexuality is banned in Russia, and when like America, it feels like, I mean, it's the emotional response. What you're saying is the correct way to analyze it, but on the emotional level, it just feels like America is like bombing any country that doesn't have like gay marriage. It's like
how can you see a video of
frustrating.
Putin doing like a Orthodox Christian ceremony and not be like, what a legend? Why is our leader not forced to do that? Because our president should be doing fucking Christian traditions and ceremonies and shit, but they don't. It's lame.
Well, he does. He does. I mean, he also does Jewish things, which is unfortunate. But and you got to look at the way that like Donald Trump views Israel, is because he's a boomer and stuff. He basically looks at Israel as like that's a nation full of people that I sold my children to. Essentially, it's a nation of my children's spouses. So yeah, he's gonna do some Jewish shit. He's a boomer. We'll weed that out eventually. But he does tons of Christian shit. He's probably not the most devout guy, but neither am I. But he goes to mass. They make a point, to do those things. I mean, I'm not sure about the current pope. He might be a fake pope, but the new pope, it might be Donald Trump, because the pope did apologize to Donald Trump once. So like, I mean, infallible my ass. I don't know, dude.
I would like that, a Pope Trump, I think that would be good.
Oh, God.
Take it in a good direction.
Maybe not that. Can you imagine?
I'm into it. We could be a tax-free nation. That'd be great. Vatican III. It's just the United States. Like, there you go.
That
With
would
a
be
big
cool.
Trump tower in the middle.
Can you imagine like the Vatican being redone in like gold and like Trumpian architecture?
I can, and I like it.
We're moving the Vatican to Washington, D.C., fellas.
Dude, that's my new goal in life. Fuck it. That's it. That's all I want. Is like move the Vatican to Washington, D.C. We'll get. Don't you believe that? I don't know. He always looked kind of awkward in the hat anyway. So new Pope hat, just
Nag hat.
It's just the hat, the hat.
Definitely.
I'm into it. It's my new goal. That's so blasphemous, but I don't even give a shit. Whatever. The actual Pope's like, yeah, let's wash Muslim feet. Like, fuck that. Like,
You see
Trump wouldn't do that.
the actual Pope on Twitter the other day said, "Oh, if you really want peace, we should get rid of all weapons." And it's like, buddy, didn't I remember this guy who said that he did not come to bring peace but a sword? And he also told his followers to sell all their belongings and buy swords. I mean, I don't know. Could be outdated.
Wait, maybe we should get rid of guns and start getting swords. Dude, can you
That's
imagine?
the real red pill. Yeah,
Yes.
they get gun control, but they're not going to initiate sword control.
Nah, they're already banned in the UK, dude. So
Gosh.
So a
Well,
guy
I
got
don't know.
arrested for having a potato peeler a few days ago in the UK, which is anti-Irish discrimination. That's a real news story. I'm not making that up. A man had a potato peeler in public and went to jail, so that's pretty epic. Absolute state.
yeah, I read that, and it just like I feel bad because I know like 3 people in the UK that are good people. The rest of them, well, I'm sure they're good people. I just don't like them that much. But if you're one of those 3 people, and you're watching this right now, I'm definitely talking about you. I'm sure. But no, the potato peeler thing is hilarious. I mean, what they've done is kind of like, you remember there was the zero tolerance policy in schools, and then the kid like ate his Pop-Tart into a gun shape, and they were like, he's expelled. That's what they're doing now, but with the whole fucking.
It's true. It's true.
We need a complete ban on Anglo immigration until we can figure out what the hell is going on. That's what I think.
I think that's true. I'd support that. Before even a Muslim ban, we need an Anglo ban.
Yeah, what a cursed country. Anytime someone says something really stupid to me on Twitter, every single time, they're Anglo in Europe, or they're in Canada, or they're in Australia. Every single time.
You have all of the blacks and Jews blocked, I guess? Can I get that block list? That sounds great.
Oh no, they don't interact with me. I don't know how it is, dude, but just like the only people who ever interact with me are white. I'm in the ethno state already, actually, on Twitter.
And it's terrible.
It's hell on earth. None of our food has spices.
It's the irony ethno state where all of the citizens are Anglos and they won't ever shut up.
Yeah, that's the future. That's what hell is gonna be like. It's everyone's an Anglo and they don't ever shut up. No Russian ever called me an incel. That's all I gotta say.
Is Putin gonna start accepting incel refugees when the great Chad Purge
You
comes?
should do. You know, Russia banned access to Pornhub.com, and the reasoning was, this is an official statement given out by the Russian government: get a girlfriend. I'm not joking. This is
Awesome.
This is a few months ago.
Well, this was several years ago. They had some things in court go to court over sexual harassment things, and what they actually decided was, if we start making laws about sexual harassment, no one will ever get married. So no.
That's awesome. I actually remember hearing about that.
Well, the thing is, you have to remember is that, like, the Russians they're Asiatic, all right? So they have this wonderful way of thinking, which is just get it done. It's fine. Very simple. We have this done. It's okay. And there is no the cost of human life or human comfort does not occur to the Russian. They just, they're not people of liberty or, free thought. As the Root has pointed out, free thought is for white people. But you got to remember that about the Russians, is they're just, they just want to get the work done, and you should be able to sexually harass your coworkers, which I do unironically agree with, but. There's a lot to admire about the Russian culture. I'll give you that, but they don't like it.
Anytime you see just some crazy shit on the internet and it's a white person, you can't even hear it. Like, there's no speaking in it. You can just look at it. Someone doing some just insane fucking shit. You always know it's a Russian or an American, but it's usually a Russian. I think the United States and Russia have a lot in common, and we need to start working together. No more brother wars.
I can agree with that. I believe that the United States and Russia could be great allies, but I just can't abide by any worship of a guy that doesn't have America's best interests in mind. So that's where my take on that comes from. It's an America first. You got to be an America first person. You have to be, which is such an old phrase, which is great. It comes from people that kind of like Hitler. So kind of like me. But it's an old tried true phrase of our guys, I guess. But
100%. I think something I admire about Russia is I feel like all of their politicians, for the most part, are actually Russia first, and then we got so many people in our government. Like, it's a minority of people that actually are America first. And Trump's got to drain the fucking swamp, dude. We got to kick all these people out.
I agree with you entirely, but did you know this neat statistic here? I believe 70% of people with fucking jobs. Somebody should look this up and make sure that I'm right, but somewhere along the lines of 70% of the people in Russia, directly or indirectly in some way, work for the Kremlin. So, like, it's everybody is right. That's why when, like, that one lawyer came and met with Don Jr. and a couple people. Well, that's a direct link to the Kremlin. So if that's what you want, is everybody working for the government, then yeah, by all means. But just not into it. Just not really into. I don't want Donald Trump to be my boss, So
I don't know. Being an employee of Trump sounds pretty fun. You ever watch The Apprentice?
Sounds nerve-wracking, dude. You have to bring him taco bowls. No, you gotta bring him McDonald's all the time. You gotta turn on the Gorilla Channel. What? Can you believe people actually believe that? Someone wrote this Gorilla Channel, like basically like a copy pasta. Like someone wrote a fucking meme, and then CNN was like, "Yes, Donald Trump does watch the Gorilla Channel for 8 hours a day." Do you guys remember?
Did CNN actually report that? I just thought I saw it going around on Twitter, and I knew all the big dum-dums like what is it, Scott Dworkin, retweeted it and believed it and all that. But I didn't know CNN actually talked about it.
Fuck. Okay, I'm not sure if CNN. I'm trying to find it.
I mean, the Piss dossier was, from what I understand, a 4chan copy pasta in its origins. You know.
No. That actually, it's way more nefarious than that. No. The that came from Christopher Steele.
Right. I
Yeah.
thought that he had gotten it, like somebody. I thought there was this whole thing when it was happening on poll that somebody was, maybe it was just a meme that
It was
that
a
they
troll.
had Okay. I want to believe. Though.
It sounds
I
like
wanna
a
believe.
copy pasta though. Maybe like his son is like a memer, like an expert memer, and he had like his kid write it.
Well, I mean, what happened? What happened with the Christopher Steele dossier is just so bad, guys. They have a foreign fella write this up. He was a former intelligence fellow, well trusted guy. He writes that up, and that had been passed around apparently for a long time, and everybody was like, "Well, this is bullshit. This isn't real. Like, I mean, this is just really dumb. Like, fake and gay, send it home." But they were like, "Hey, how are we gonna, get this thing out here? I mean, no, everybody wants to report it because that gets you those sweet, sweet clicks. You know, they want to do it." Then you had who was it? Somebody Clapper gave the go ahead. And this is all now this is in unredacted things that you can look up now that because they're going through these things. This is all unredacted. You can find it. Just Google it. I don't have it on hand. I've been drinking a lot, as you might have seen. But anyway, so Clapper gives Comey the go ahead. He's like, "Hey, why don't you brief Trump on this? Why don't you say like, hey, look, this is what's out there, like this is some weird shit. Like you got to look out for this." Well, that gave them the reason to report it. Oh, Donald Trump was briefed on this fake dossier. Now CNN hired James freaking Clapper, who just got an award at the White House Correspondents Center for breaking this story. He works over there now. Okay, this is how incestuous and disgusting this is. But so this goes on. And BuzzFeed puts out the whole, the whole dossier and all of that because it was never real. And then they used it to get a freaking FISA warrant, which crazy, like it's people are going to jail over this, dude. It's nuts.
Yeah.
So they do that, but there are still people out there that believe Donald Trump paid Russian hookers to pee on a bed. And
So epic.
who hasn't done that? But he didn't, I guess.
Have any of you actually watched like TV news in the past month or two? Because I occasionally I do
I've
see
been traveling
CNN.
a lot, and
Yeah.
like hotels usually have it on.
And I am amazed at how they'll do like 20-minute segments where they're still like up to this day they're still talking about fucking Stormy Daniels. Like it's so boring. Who gives a shit? And I see this like every day, like still fucking talking about this like months after. What? A rich billionaire fucked. That's the story. Rich nigga fucked. Wow. Breaking news. Rich nigga fucked. I'm really glad we got the media reporting this. Epic. Like who cares? Yeah, I'm sure Donald Trump has had sex with lots of women. And then the story is, she said that after they nutted, that Trump made her watch the Shark Week with her, which I do believe that 100%, and that's a power play. So I hope
That's
it's true.
alpha.
Well, of course that's what they're talking about. Have you noticed that they're not talking about anything about Russians? We've talked about Russians more than CNN has talked about Russians.
Hey, have you noticed that they're not talking about that like celebrity sex cult thing where they're like branding and kidnapping women and shit, and that
Excellent.
actor from Smallville is like a part of it?
Allison Mack. Yeah, we reported on that. Yeah, as soon as it came out, we talked about that. Which you can directly through that. I mean, and the fact that the Trump administration's Department of Justice has shut down so many child trafficking rings and child porn rings and things like that is I know the administration has to have had something to do with this. That's something that is just fantastic. But they don't talk about Russia anymore. Now they're just talking about Stormy Daniels, and Stormy Daniels is a giant whore, but apparently she doesn't do anal, guys, because Roseanne Barr said on Twitter, she's famous for anal scenes. Stormy Daniels, clapped back, as the modern media likes to say, by that's the type of cultural appropriation that I don't like, is just really crappy ebonics used by shitty Jewish journalists. But his Daily Caller said this. He clapped back, she clapped back and said, "I've never done an anal scene." First of all, I call bullshit. Secondly, like that's your last stand there, is like, hey, I might have just fucked hundreds of blacks for money, but I never let him put it in my pooper. Like, that's you're and this is who is getting all of the attention right now is Stormy Daniels. Nothing to do with Russian. She might have fucked a few Russian porn guys, I'm sure, but there's your Russia collusion right there. It was like they glued it all over her face. What a mess.
What a mess.
Thought gets nutted on by rich man. More breaking news at 7. Thanks, guys. All right, we're going to have another guest come in right now. He's actually a Anglo-Canadian. Well, actually, I think... All right, fellas, we're back. We have our guest here, all the way from Papua New Guinea. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, Papua.
Oh, Papua. All right.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, so you are... give us your background. Like, tell us, where you're from, boss.
I was born in Canada. Raised in Toronto for a few years, and then eventually we moved overseas to East Timor, which is in the Pacific. That was quite a big change for me. We spent about 4 years there. And then I moved back to Canada for about a year, and then we moved to, we had a job offer in Zimbabwe, and then we moved to Harare for about a month. It was supposed to be a 3-year contract, but the head teacher at the school that I was supposed to go to was shot and killed. So we only got to spend about a month in Africa.
God bless Africa.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so
and then
oh, go on. Sorry.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say, and then I was back in Canada for about 4 more years, and then now I've been in Papua New Guinea for almost 4 years.
All right, so let's start. A lot of people here love to watch Rhodesia tribute videos. Get really sad, maybe eat a pint of ice cream, and like cry. I mean, okay, that's what I do.
Yeah.
It's just what I do. All right, it's
Yeah.
We're all Rhodesians and we'll fight through thick and thin. All right. So tell us about the Rhodesians you met. There are still white people in Zimbabwe. People don't know. There's not too many of them.
Of course.
But,
Of course. No, there's still quite a few. I mean, in relation to the general population in Zimbabwe, it's very small. There's a lot more expats there now, but for the most part, a lot of Rhodesians, white Rhodesians, have left to Australia, and a lot of them own farms and plantations out in Western Australia. There's still a few left, obviously, a few of them still run farms, maybe like a few thousand. But at back in 2008, it was really bad. There were a lot of killings. It's sort of calmed down now. It still happens, obviously.
So, all right. So in Zimbabwe, you've told me this before, that there are the older generation and the younger generation are very different ideologically. So, first, tell us about the people who actually lived in Rhodesia, when it was called Rhodesia, and then the current epic millennial and Gen Z Zimbabwe whites.
Obviously, a lot of the old Rhodesians, they obviously want to return to that old administration. It'll never happen with the world in its current state. A lot of them are very just sad. Quite a few of them just want to forget about it. That's why a lot of them left. They don't even want to think about their old home and what it is right now. Yeah, just a lot of the older men sort of hold on to that identity. But the younger generation, they're much like the Americans. They've been sort of drawn towards the whole anti-racism. A lot of them hate their parents too for even living in that country, and for not fighting for ZANU and the forces of Mugabe and whatnot.
Now, I want everyone watching to put this into context. The liberalism is so powerful. The West, America, is so powerful that with the internet as a tool, it is able to fucking turn a bunch of white people in Zimbabwe who get fucking killed and raped all the time just because they're not black, right? Or they're the target because of that. Anyways, these people who should be the biggest, woke race realist or whatever of all time, these people have been fucking infected by social justice or social Marxism or whatever, to the point where they're like, yes, we gotta end white fucking privilege, yeah. And it's like, you're gonna fucking die if you walk outside of your fucking armored compound that you live in, kid, and you're gonna be God damn it, I don't know. It just disappointed me to learn that these people aren't lay-based. Right, go on, buds.
Hold on. Let me, if I may, jump in. Could that be kind of even a survival tactic, though? It'd be like, no, not me. I hate whitey too. Is that maybe the case over there?
No, I mean a lot of them are killed anyway, just because they're white. I've heard of stories from a lot of Rhodesians, because a lot of the former ones, they do expatriate work in overseas, just anywhere where it's dangerous. But a lot of them say that they've seen friends try to surrender to the I guess the rascals, they call them, but they'll just shoot them anyway, just because they're white. A lot of barrel burnings happen there. Have you heard of those? Do you know what a barrel burning is?
Enlighten us. That sounds horrifying.
It's basically where they throw, they'll throw farmers, they'll throw anyone who they hate into a closed barrel. They'll fill it with, I believe it's tar, something flammable, and then they'll throw a cigarette butt in the barrel, and then they'll close it. So they burn alive in the barrel.
Similar to
then
like
they-
the tire necklace thing they do in South Africa.
Yeah, sort of like that. But the whole point is that, I mean, obviously the white victim, after being burned alive at like 500 degrees Celsius, comes out looking like an African man. So that's sort of the joke,
Uh,
the dark humor. Yeah.
do they do it like with intent of it being humorous?
Dark humorous. Yeah, I guess.
That's fucked, dude. So let's move
It
on
is.
to your current home, Papau.
Yeah.
Lay out the context of your living conditions, because this was very amazing to me to learn about.
It's quite nice here, actually. I mean, I live on a closed compound, obviously. I mean, that's the case wherever you live overseas, if you're an expatriate, unless you're really stupid and you're willing to take chances. A lot of the missionaries do that. No, I live on a closed guards. Yeah, I mean, my house is pretty nice. It's quite old, actually. Maybe like 1980s. But yeah, I've got everything I need, really.
You're living the Waco lifestyle. You're living in a compound, and
I've got air conditioning. It's far from the Waco lifestyle.
yeah, well, you're not allowed to say the word compound on right-wing Twitter, or the FBI visits you, but we can say it here. 'Cause,
Yeah.
dude, that is alright. This is genuine advice. Please, for the love of God, do not say the word compound in any. I guess if you're talking about like science, like
That's-
chemistry, you can say it on Twitter. But other than that, please don't, dude. Because
Wait, when I post about the
That's-
Catboy compound, is that too far?
dude, the USA, they will fucking burn you. They'll kill kids. They'll kill your dogs. I don't know why the government's so sensitive.
That's just the word that they use here. I didn't know that it was so sensitive.
Yeah, you wanna?
I want a bumper sticker. I want a bumper sticker that says, "I don't know why the government's so sensitive," with a swastika on it.
Yeah, if you want to trigger the U.S. government SJW's epic style, like Ben Shapiro should start triggering the U.S. government epic style, talking about he's gonna build a Jewish compound. That'd be sweet. Fuck. Anyways, so this guy's living in this compound. If he goes out after 9 o'clock or after dark, if you're a woman, you're gonna be raped. There's so many rapes in Papua New Guinea that the government stops reporting
yeah.
them. That's insane.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, they still try, but here because I lived in 2 different cities here. So where I used to live in Leh, which is the second biggest city, like almost every other week, I could hear like a screaming woman being raped, like right outside my window. And we couldn't do anything because there's like 16 guys out there, and they're not expatriate women, obviously. They're just any random.
What
Any
happens if
random
you
woman.
just what happens if you just fucking shoot people there?
I guess the best example of what happens when you do that, there was a Scottish guy that I knew here a few years ago, maybe the second year that I was here in Leh, and he was on his way back to Scotland for vacation, and he was driving, because the airport in Leh is like an almost 4-hour drive on a dirt road. It's very dangerous. A lot of holdups happen there. This guy's always armed, so he's got a Glock on him at all times. So he was driving to the airport to leave for vacation, and he got pulled over by like 20 guys, and they're all fully armed. Now, a lot of people here make their own guns. A lot of guns here are like pipe guns. They're homemade. They're like taped together, all improvised. They were basically out to take his car because he had a really nice car. But obviously he's not going to let them just do that. He'll be killed if he walks his way back. So he ended up killing like 16 of them out of the 18, and then he injured the others. And then I think he ran over one of them.
What a bust!
And
Like
so-
that's some
That's
GTA
amazing.
shit. Oh my god.
He got shot actually in the shoulder and the leg. He was really fucked up, so he had to go back to the hospital in Leh. And And so when he came back after holiday in Scotland, and he had whatever surgery he needed to heal, the family of the people he shot came back to his house looking for compensation. They wanted compensation because he killed them, because they were trying to kill him.
Gibbs.
It happens here with everyone.
Yeah, Australopithecus, means Gibbs, like, immediately. Give Air Jordans. I mean, did he tell him, fuck right off back where you came from?
Yeah, exactly.
Dirty little N-words? Like,
Of course he did, yeah. They came back about a week later, and then they basically shot blindly at his house. He's gone now. I think he's living in,
well, don't
he's
say
living
it.
in Eritrea. What?
So basically it's a freaking war zone down there. So, like, we need to send the incels down there because they have the blind rage.
That's true.
We don't want to mix it with the Papau women, though, dude. We don't want a super race of these, like...
Just...
Oh
Dude,
god, man,
low
mixed race
IQ
children
incel.
here are so ugly.
Oh, no. Hey, tell us
No,
about
can
the
you-
natives, dude. I want to hear all about the great natives. Of...
You're talking about, like, tribals?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the most part, like a lot of the stuff people here know about tribals, it really depends because what a lot of tribes do, they really want to keep tourists out, so they'll set up like a little, I guess, example village or whatever, and they'll do shows for tourists. But very few people right now know like a lot about actual tribes. There's basically like constant warfare up in the highlands, which is the mountains, sort of in the middle of the country. There's like constant warfare between tribes. If anything happens, I mean, here people pay something called bride price, which is basically, depending on how much money you make, you have to pay your bride's family a certain amount of money. And that can be in, like, pigs, it can be in shells, which is used as tribal currency.
Wait, you say shells, like, do you mean ammunition, or do you mean, like, seashells?
No, sorry.
I hate that I have to ask, but...
No, it's fine. Seashells.
That's
the
what?
nicer but they don't pay, like, one shell for, like, you have to collect hundreds of them to get some value.
Yeah,
Obviously.
okay, it sounds like a freaking video game. It's like, oh, if you get 100 seashells, you find the princess at the end. That's, yeah, okay, whatever, Papua New Guinea. Like, go ahead, I guess.
What's the conversion rate of seashells to USD?
Yeah, oh my god.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna buy,
they
like,
don't-
a beach. And then there
don't
you
do
It's
that.
like the new Bitcoin. The seashell bubble's gonna burst.
I'm sorry, I know this is very serious, and I would love to have you on mine sometime. Like, this is I've never heard any of this. These are
post-current.
a seashell exchange for women, plus they hijack cars. I mean, it sounds like a fucked up place. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's pretty crazy here, but like, I mean, you hear about it all the time, but I mean, in my 4 years here, I've only had, I mean, just yesterday, I got caught up in some crazy shit. But like, somewhat rarely do I ever see it happen.
But like, for
but it does.
context, like, what you're talking about the seashells, that's like people who, like, are, like, actually still live in, like, mud huts and tribes, where you live as, like, a proper, like, British-built city, pretty much, right?
Port Moresby, yeah, it was built by the British. Unfortunately, a lot of the old buildings have been torn down either to make new ones or in earthquakes. Up in Rabaul, which is way up in the north, that was actually a part of the German Empire. And until the 1980s, there was actually a part of the city that was built to look like a German city. I forgot what city it was modeled after, but they built a bunch of traditional German buildings there to make the expats feel like they were at home. But in the sort of mid 80s, there was a volcanic eruption that basically leveled the entire city. So now it just sort of looks like it's all like modern buildings and stuff.
What's the religious makeup of Papua New Guinea?
Say again? Sorry?
What's the religious makeup of Papua New Guinea?
So very Christian. There's a lot of Seventh-day Adventists here. A ton of missionaries out in the isolated areas. German missionary, European missionaries, I guess, in general. Yeah, for the most part, I guess, of any really organized religion, it's just a lot of Christian.
But the tribes, are they, the ones
They're
that, like,
animists.
Seychelles are a thing?
They worship like much like the Native Americans in the Americas. They worship different gods based on I guess the environment and stuff like that, like spirits.
Totally Anprim. Awesome. I'm sorry, another question, though.
No, it's fine, man. Go for it.
What's the makeup like of I guess like organized actual civilization, places where white people have come in and been like, hey, stop doing that, versus the whole tribes. I mean, are they a major problem? I imagine they probably have the guns now at this point and are doing the carjackings and all that. But I mean, who has the advantage here, numbers wise?
Sorry, you cut out at the end there, but I heard most of that. I mean, in almost every city here, there's expatriates, white expatriates. I don't know if you know what I mean by expatriate. I'm assuming you do.
Of course.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, depending on where the city is, there's not as many. I mean, in Port Moresby, where I am, has the most expats. There's probably quite a few thousand here. When I was in Leh, maybe a few hundred. In general, there's very few places that you can go to see expats. I mean, most places are designated for locals. I mean, it's quite dangerous. But as you said, a lot of the tribes they cause a lot of crime. Quite a few of them attack police, and especially if they become assimilated into the cities, they actually end up fighting other tribal members. If they're much like in a prison, if you saw another gang member, you'd probably want to beat the shit out of them, and you'd start this big riot. That happens quite a bit in the cities, just massive random breakouts of tribal fighting with machetes and pipe guns, and that doesn't really happen in Port Moresby, but there's another city called Mount Hagen. It's up in the mountains. That happens almost daily for them. It's really dangerous there. Yeah.
Good gosh. I had no idea that I never once thought really about Papua New Guinea at all as really even a place. If somebody was like, hey, name 3 places, it wouldn't have been in my top 10. Now tourism wise, you said they set up these fake little tribal things where they were like, oh, look at this, we got here's a thing we can sell to you.
Yeah.
Is there any other reason to go, or is it just white liberals that can go down there and be like, I helped build a barn and some fake ass tribal thing,
That last part, that's pretty accurate. That happens all the time. Unfortunately, I know I'm breaking off from the topic, but actually a lot of what people come here to build for charity ends up getting torn down. They just don't want it.
I
There's not a lot
fucking
here.
love that. I love that. I love that, like,
Mostly-
there's so many Facebook photos of just, like, some blonde, white, liberal cunt who's like, I helped! And then we're like, we tore that down, and then we, like, raped a bunch of people. Like,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my Papuan friends, they say, yeah, like, they're very casual about it. I talk to one of my security guards every now and then, who's a really nice guy, and he said, oh, when I was 12 years old, a bunch of Americans came here, and they built a school, and we immediately built sledgehammers, and we tore it all down. But when they built it, we happily accepted all the money that they gave us, and they all spent it on booze and got smashed. Now, to answer, I know, sorry, I keep going off topic, but for tourism, obviously there's not a lot here. Actually, what you said earlier, a lot of people don't even know that it exists, which is fair enough. I mean, there's not a lot going on here, just tribal warfare.
just barrel burnings, not a lot of things, just, like, giant human atrocities, human rights violations, not a lot going on, no big deal.
Now, if people,
Just 15 rapes every 5 seconds. No fucking big deal in Papua New Guinea. No big deal.
what people do come here for, actually, because it's not so touristy, that can actually make some of the places here really beautiful. So in a lot of the coastal provinces, there's up in the north, there's a city called Madang, and if you take a boat out there to some of the islands just off the coast, it's like crystal blue water. You can see like 30 meters down right to the bottom of the seabed. There's like tons of coral. The islands are beautiful if you go out on a really nice day.
You could probably catch a great glimpse of the dead bodies. I mean,
They're actually, I do a lot of diving here. That's sort of my big interest. Anyway, when I was doing diving in Madang, my instructor told me that they found a brand new Second World War wreck, like I think maybe like 3 kilometers out from the city. So we went out and we come to this. It's actually a B-25 Mitchell, and because no one had known that it was there, we ended up swimming around to the cockpit, and I found 2 dead pilots and then a dead rear gunner. And then I think we ended up going back to the resort after a dive or whatever. And apparently they have a special call line, and during the Second World War there was a huge campaign here against the Japanese. Not a lot of people know about it, but it was actually huge here, like the importance of Papua New Guinea. Because had the Japanese taken PNG, it would have been a beachhead to Australia. Anyway, they have a call line here. All the dive resorts here have a call line if they find a wreck with bodies in it. Second World War wreck, they call up some U.S. administration or Australian administration, depending on obviously the aircraft and who's inside. But yeah, no, I found 3 dead bodies in a Mitchell. That was pretty fun.
that was pretty fun. You've been living there too long, bro. You need to come home to civilization. That's
the thing about coming home. A lot of people here, if expats end up leaving the country, a lot of them joke that they'll be back, and that's pretty common almost everywhere I've been. And mostly because a lot of people, when they go home after living for years in third world countries, they end up not getting used to it. Like here, I guess you're really someone. Whereas when you go back to the West, you're basically nobody. A lot of it, I get that.
Uh-oh.
that sounds like a mental illness.
It's breaking up right now. He's not. He uses like 3G on his phone to be able to use the internet because communicate.
You said that being somebody here, not back in.
Right, but okay. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If like that is the fascination that somebody's mind has, is like I'm gonna, I was somebody back around all of these terrible people, and then they come back to civilization and are like, hey, guess what? Like we have bathrooms, and then they come back. Like that's a weird thing for me. I mean, I don't know. I've never lived in a third world country. Maybe I would love it. I'd walk around like mud huts, just like throwing out dollar bills like all the time. You're like, Papa Bryden's here, bitch. And they would love it. But that's that just seems like a weird illness. And I'm sorry, I'm taking all the questions. Somebody else go ahead because I'm fascinated by this.
Well, I did want to comment on what you had said about when you return back to the West or to civilization, wanting that you'll always come back to that third world country. I don't know if I see that as a mental illness, as more of maybe like it seems like something kind of profound in that, like we all kind of came from that dirt. We all kind of came from this primitivist like lifestyle, like in our ancestry, in our history, and I can see that maybe inside of a lot of people there is a calling to it. There's a calling to that. And what you said about how in the West, you're nobody, but in these third world countries, in these terrifying circumstances, you can really be somebody of importance. I think is really, really profound to our situation here in the West, and I think it's true though. I think it's completely true what you said, because if you look at, and I'm sorry, this is a question. I'm not trying to take up your time, but if you look up,
No, it's fine, man.
if you think about how in the West, everybody's going to the same restaurants, everyone's going on the same social media sites. Like there's millions of people here, all doing the same thing, with really nothing separating them from anybody else, and to a large degree, for most people. I can completely see the appeal. I can see why, that going away from this, hellscape that we have in the West to like this very, what sounds to us very harsh, very primitive, very
but also
scary,
very quiet.
Very quiet,
Yeah. I mean, as I said, like, if bad things do happen, it can end up being quite violent. But for the most part, like, it doesn't really happen. Like, yeah, I think I already said this, but in my 4 years here, I've only seen quite a limited amount of crazy shit. And usually, if I do see that, I mean, sometimes I put myself into it too.
Yeah.
For example, I mean, going to a big festival or something here, that's usually gated off, and people want to get in. Usually, a lot of crazy shit happens where people are like shooting at police, and I'm really the one who decided to go there and put myself in that sort of danger.
Right.
But there's definitely a lot of places here. Like, I know I'm sort of painting a horrible picture of Papua New Guinea, but the truth is, a lot of locals are very nice. It's not everyone. Not everyone just hates me because I'm white. There's obviously a few rascals that behave like that. But for the most part, I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess quite a few locals will give you a smile and tell you good morning, good afternoon. Obviously, I can't go out walking in the street. I have to drive everywhere, but because you don't really know who's friend or who's foe here.
Do you hear yourself? Like, I mean, when you're talking, do you hear yourself? Like,
No,
oh yeah,
really,
some of these guys are nice and what have you, but I gotta drive everywhere. I mean, it's no worse than LA, but
I mean, in my year, I've spent so much time overseas now that this is just the norm for me, I guess.
You have third world Stockholm syndrome, is what you've got.
I mean,
like,
speaking
life is
about
better
LA,
around majority white people. Like that's the thing. Go back to Canada, my friend. Go back. They're over there, and for another 3 years, it'll be majority white. I promise.
There's nothing in Canada for me. just a lot of snow and the same buildings over and over again. Like I enjoy going back for Christmas or whatever to see family.
You got to remember, he
but
lives in a. He's not like he's living like his neighbor is not Papao people. He's in a compound filled with like white Westerners. So he has the high trust society ethno compound that like the TWP wants to build in a trailer park. And so
Well, no, what's that one book everybody likes? It's like The Last Saints or The Last or whatever.
Siege?
Like, no, well, no, not Siege. Siege is something you might should read. You guys should all get around. What is this, like The Last Saints, something like that?
Camp of the Saints?
About Camp of the Saints. There you go. Never read it, but people talk about it. That's what I'm hearing right now. And I'm sorry, as an outsider, maybe I'm culturally illiterate, but to me, it seems like if you go outside, you're gonna get thrown in a barrel and lit on fire. This sounds horrible. And like, you're like, no, I get to go scuba diving every now and then. You know what, dude? I'll set that up for you. Honestly, like, you come to, like, I will make sure you can go scuba diving.
this is your future,
Just,
white
like,
man.
It's just, I mean, it's bad. It's terrifying. I don't get it. I don't get why anybody would want to do it. But I mean, if you had like blood connection to the land, which is my understanding you don't, that would make more sense to me. I don't know why you're so ballsy for no reason, sir, but I applaud it.
It's the colonial mindset, dude. Like, think about your ancestors that came here, right? Well, I don't know if you're like a second-generation immigrant, but my ancestors, I've been here longer than the Native Americans. No, I've been here for a while. Imagine the frontiersmen who came from the Netherlands and Britain and all these other fucked places. They're like, fuck the king, we out of here, bruh. No more rules. And they came here and they went and fought a bunch of Indians and they went and explored into unknown territory. There's no roads. They walked on like deer paths, and that's the best they're getting. You get all these weird diseases. They've got these savage people jumping out of trees, and yet they continue to do it because they had the colonial spirit, the spirit for adventure. And this man, we talk about the last stand of explicit white identities, watching anime. No, it's living on the frontier. He's continuing. This was a British colony he's in, and he's continuing the Anglo legacy, and I applaud him for it.
Hey, if you're able to do that, I will back you in any way possible. If you have a GoFundMe for anti-barrel burning things, I mean, I will parade that until the day that I die. It's one of the most horrific things that I've ever heard. But
I mean, I've got I would never ask anyone, but like sometimes if an emergency does happen here, like sometimes there are riots on Independence Day where people are killing cops and killing each other, and you're not able to go anywhere. With my circle group of friends back in Canada, I do have like a Patreon or whatever.
Sweet.
done.
Just not, like,
Send it to me. Done.
All right. What's your Twitter?
I'm at a actual racist. I put an A in front of actual racist to confuse them, and it somehow worked. So, but yeah, no, done. Yeah, no. Anytime you're having a riot, expect at least a couple dollars from me. That's terrifying. That's so terrifying. I don't. You're just so like callous to the situation. I don't think you realize like. If there were a riot outside right now, I would just load up a gun and sit down.
I mean, I do open carry here, so I'm fine. A lot of people back off when if they try to confront me, especially if I'm in my vehicle.
I think all this puts West, or all of this, like the world, in such perspective. Because from the Western mindset, like, our biggest threat is like getting in trouble for saying the N-word, right? And this guy's like living in like the frontier, dude. And I don't know, it's just the West. I think we view like we're in such a strange, unnatural state that we view the world as extremely structured. And these are things you can't do. These are things you cannot do. And it's like it's a video game. it's not programmed in, so you just cannot possibly do it. There's no rules in Papao, and I just learned seeing like how chaotic the world can be. I think it's pretty interesting.
It's the most
I mean,
Antrim fucking nation on the planet. I learned that.
If you guys ever want to come here, we've got an extra bedroom. I can take you out diving.
I'm sure that you can pull out your gun and confiscate an extra bedroom somewhere, and then we can, go shop for dead bodies in the sea. Yeah, I'm sure.
I have painted this country in a very bad light.
All right, tell us about what happened at the mall yesterday. You were at a shopping mall a couple days ago, right?
No,
I like how they are so Antrim. They still have a mall. That's what I like. Is they still have a mall.
We've got a really big mall here, actually. I've built quite a few. So yesterday around 2:00 in the afternoon, I was sitting down with a friend from the Australian embassy who I have lunch with. And so the mall is like maybe 3/4 of a kilometer. It's quite big, actually. Anyway, we were sitting down having lunch 2:00, and I heard 3 loud cracks maybe coming from the car park, and you can't really mistake it for anything else. I mean, you can tell what a firecracker sounds like from a gunshot. And then I heard a bunch of screams running, and the building gets held up. They almost never do it from one entrance. So we were going to decide whether or not we should go help, because if they were just, you never really know what the motive is, if they're out, maybe there's some sort of feud. And then we heard a bunch more gunshots coming from the front entrance, and then more maybe 500 meters away from us. So where we were having lunch, the building has a fire exit. So we just decided to go really check who would try and rob or shoot up the biggest mall when the police headquarters is right across the street, and the Australian embassy, which has a emergency garrison for stopping stuff like that, is like right down the road. So I still don't really know what they were doing, but after the 3 gunshots, it like ramped up to 50, and then we decided to leave like really quickly. I got an email maybe like right after I came home, like 2 hours later, about 4:00, and it said that it was still ongoing. So I don't really know.
Was it an incel? Do you think?
I mean, I'm accusing it's the biggest mall in the country. It just came. So something that'd be a family feud, like someone cheating on someone else's wife. That happens quite a bit. But if it's bad enough that they needed to be killed, I don't know. Because like if someone, quite a bit here, like if someone cheats on someone else's wife, usually they'll like beat the shit out of them. But I mean, I don't know. Like someone definitely died. And I heard one of the Australians who was sort of near the car park where it started said that they saw someone collapse, like dead, like limp. So I don't know. I guess I'll check the news.
I'm curious now here too, and I'm sorry, I'm like heading up this interview here, but I'm just so curious. Like this is so different than America. Are there any places where like people are like, oh man, Papua Guinea's so bad, but I'm glad I don't live in. Like, is there a place that people say is shittier than Papua New Guinea?
What do you mean, like?
Well, like
Sorry,
we'll say, like, well, people here in America will be like, oh, it could be worse. You could live in the Middle East. You know, is there any place where they're like, oh, you know, Papua New Guinea's not so bad. We could live in.
Oh yeah. Almost everyone I know who's lived in quite a few expats here have lived in Eritrea and Somalia. And so whenever we joke around about how bad it is here, almost anyone will bring up either of those two countries. Because it's like, it's not bad. Like, it's sort of bad here, but like, I don't even think I would go to Eritrea or Somalia. Like, it's so bad there. I guess an example, a brand new principal from Britain graduated from, they got their teacher's degree or whatever, and they landed in Eritrea to teach the international school because the old principal retired, and she didn't even get to step foot in the new school. Two guys on a motorcycle pulled up, took her purse, and then shot her in the head for no reason. Like here, I mean, random killings don't really happen. Like, if I get held up, someone's usually just out for my phone or my wallet or whatever. But in those countries, they will just shoot you. Like, no questions asked. It's really dangerous there. I don't even know why anyone would live there. But apparently the pay's good. Obviously, the more dangerous it is, the more you get paid.
So in your case, would you say it's like, yeah, Papua New Guinea's bad, but at least I'm not in Toronto? Is that how it is for you?
Yeah. Toronto's really bad, actually. Yeah, I got held up in the neighborhood that I was growing up in by like two black guys who didn't even speak English, and that's in Canada.
Thanks, Mr. Trudeau.
Yeah, no Canadians, expats here are a big fan of him. Although
I gotta tell
I think you. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I was just saying, Saxon and I were talking on Discord a few weeks ago about how, and I don't think I brought this up, quite a few expats here are still very liberal, and they're like very, very Trump look like he, like that sort of humor. Like, I hear that all the time from people who've lived here for like 15 years.
This has been one of the most eye-opening experiences I've ever had as far as internet conversations go, because I've heard it's been bad in other places, but I've never heard somebody who wasn't black tell me that, like, oh yeah, by the way, I still live here in a giant compound, because even like South Africa sounds like, you know, baby time fun stories compared to what I'm hearing from Papua New Guinea here. This is, I mean, dude, like, I'm worried about you. I need to, like, you're a nice guy. I need to help you out. You can't come to America, but you can go to Canada. I don't know how you do it. I mean, I have so much respect for you as a colonizer. There we go, a colonizer. You're a colonizer. That takes some balls. I just can't fucking. I imagine you're strapped at all times. I want you to make a hip hop album. Like, oh my god, please make one. Like, it'd be
Please make
so
a what?
rough.
So you cut out.
Oh, a hip hop album, dude. I've got beats for days. Make a hip hop album. Be like, you know, we'll call it In the Compound. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Please go on. I'm baffled as a human being that a white person would, like, you know, not just be like, you know what, F all these ends. I'm gonna peace. Like, it's calm in a good way.
So the type of insight you get on the gulag, you get breaking stories from around the world, all sorts of perspectives that the Lugan press of the TRS would be too scared to report. And
It's true.
it is true.
That's actually legitimately true. Yeah. Good God, are you writing a book? Like, what are you doing? Okay, hold on. Let me ask you. No, I have so many questions for you, dude. I have so many questions.
Yeah, man, go for it. I've got all day.
Yeah, apparently because it's like 1 in the afternoon. Well, it's like 2 in the afternoon there now. Um, I I have not heard any outreach things going on about like we need to help the whites in Papua New Guinea. I have heard nothing about it. This is all news to me. I didn't know that there were whites there. Is anybody talking about that?
But they're voluntary, right? They're people who come from Western countries, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few people who are born here, but I mean, in general, everyone can pretty much handle their own, I guess.
So
it's
you're a
not-
compound of rich people.
Yeah, I live in a compound full of white expatriates.
Okay, so I mean, I'm trying to shape this so that I can figure it out. I mean, I'm very new to this.
Yeah.
You know, with the South Africans, they'll be like, oh, they can't leave because whatever. Well, the reason they don't leave is because they're a bunch of Calvinists and all of that. And they're ready to die for the land. What's the benefit for you guys being there?
I mean, for the most part, there's a lot of people here who work here, are here for the oil. There's a lot of oil in Papua New Guinea, especially up in the jungle and the mountains and stuff. Unfortunately, they'll usually end up cutting down like kilometers of forest, to make like a mine or whatever to drill out the oil.
So you're actively invading and colonizing that land.
I suppose.
I'm not against that.
There's
Don't get me wrong.
also, I mean, there's also a big industry here. Actually, a lot of Coca-Cola, a lot of the coca for their like the whole worldwide industry, actually comes from here. So a lot of people who work here, cola, work with Pepsi, that sort of Sprite and stuff. With sugar is also a big business. Coffee, up in the Highlands, they make some of the world's best coffee. If I ever meet you guys, I buy you some Papua New Guinea coffee if you actually enjoy it. It's really good, actually. What else? There's fishing. Fishing is a huge industry. There's quite a few missionaries here doing work out in the remote areas.
But you said that the missionaries are not the people that are living on the compound. They're the people that will actually go out there and just get raped and shit.
Yeah, missionaries are really stupid. Like how they conduct themselves here. They usually they don't live in fenced off areas, so usually they come with their white family, and they all end up getting robbed or killed.
That sounds right. Thanks. Good job, white people.
They sort of go into it expecting that people they follow Christ, and then they get their heads cut off because no one.
Are you Christian?
I don't know. Cause
Are you
Go
a
ahead,
religious?
sir.
Are you a Christian? Are you a religious guy?
no, I was raised agnostic.
Okay.
Not atheist, just sort of. My mom always had the stance of choose your own religion. Yeah, I still haven't picked anything. But I mean, a lot of Christians I know on Twitter are really nice guys. So.
Well, Catholicism is, it's a solid pick. It's the first round pick of your life. But no, that's very interesting. Without doxing yourself, and I'm sorry you guys cut me off. I'm just totally killing this thing. But how did you find yourself there? Again, without doxing yourself, how did you find yourself there? Because I know you've traveled around, quite a bit. But did you go there chasing money, sir?
No, I'm right now. I'm here finishing my schooling right now, currently.
Still in
you
high
realize
school.
they have schools elsewhere. You know that, right? Where they don't just put people in barrels and light them on fire.
Yeah, man. But as I said, I'm so used to this lifestyle that
That's what
I just
N-words say. That's what 85 say. They're like, I'm just so used to this street life that I just can't give it up.
yeah. But
It's
I'm not committing crime here.
You're a fascinating person.
just
You're just so fascinating. Like I could talk to you forever. Like
I mean, as I said way earlier, back like 20 minutes ago, I'm a huge I do a lot of diving here, so that's like I go out almost every weekend, and I get to do some beautiful, it's really calming to do diving away from all the chaos of everything else, to just
the
jump in the
murder?
water and
Do you
hear
know
the
what
oceans.
do you know what percentage of the world is water? I just this is not a defense of Papua New Guinea. Move to Hawaii, dickhead. There's plenty of brown people there, and they're pretty violent. Don't get me wrong. Bob Marley hung out in Hawaii all the time. He had a wrench that he just hit people with. He was a Jamaican fella, but there's a lot of places with great water, and you could just go dive around and then not have to come up and go like, oh, am I gonna get shot? I can't get into your head, and this is upsetting to me because I don't understand your reasoning for being there. You need to just tell me I have to because they have a gun to my head. That's the only explanation.
Well, he's there with his mother, and you're 18, right?
Yeah.
So you do have the choice to move right after you finish high school if you so desired.
I have the choice to move right now, but I'm gonna stay here. When I'm done here, though, this is my last year here for sure. I don't know what I want to do, because I'm
Move
so
to a
close
place where you won't die.
I mean, the few times, or actually the quite a few times that I've been to Australia, I really love it there. So maybe I'll find something to do there.
I look forward to seeing you on Dingo Twitter, dude. One, you'll have better internet. Two,
I am on Dingo Twitter.
There you go. See, that's so much better than I don't know, Barrel Fire Twitter, which is they only send a couple tweets, which is help me and oh my god. That's the only thing that they do.
Yeah.
I believe that you have become very callous to the way that the world should be and the way that it can be if white folks are your neighbors, because you've just been forced into so many situations that have put you into third world countries. Granted, it's Amprim as fuck, but even Amprim is so much better if it's just white people, because it's yeah, I'm not gonna hit you with a rock. Listen, dude, I'm bigger than you, and I need you to hand me that piece of corn. That's, there's a negotiation that can go down instead of just oh, you're going to your job for the first time? Yeah, I'm going to shoot you. It's, this is not, it's not, you're a tough fella. I don't know. I'm glad you carry. And you need to go to some of these other countries and tell them, hey, I've seen it. I've seen it, and you don't want it here. You can be an advocate for that. That's my take.
I mean, sometimes if I go overseas and I try to talk about this country, I guess the best example, so I went to visit a friend that I knew online for a long time in Missouri, and his mother is stereotypical boomer liberal, Trump, Cheeto, whatever. And I was talking about living here, which she was very interested to hear. And then I said, every other day, a lot of crazy shit happens here. Sometimes people will try to hold me back because I'm, in just any aspect, hold me back because of my skin color. And then she goes, so a lot like black men here being shot by cops every day. And I said, no, not really. I don't know what's going on in the U.S., but I don't really think that black men are just being open seasoned by police officers.
Not yet, man. We're working on it, but not yet.
Not endorsed by the gulag.
I endorse that.
Damn.
But a lot of people think they look at my take on life and stuff like that. And especially back in the West, that's for the people, and I am, and I think everyone is racist, and I think everyone should be racist, because there's a huge divide in the world, and if you're not willing to see that, you're going to die. You will be killed, and unfortunately, I wish missionaries in their families would come here with that aspect. That people here are dangerous, and that if you don't take precautions and you don't have the mindset, you will be killed. Yeah,
Well said.
but
Well said.
a lot of people back home, they just don't see that. It's the reason a lot of them die, and a lot of them have their lives ruined. They just sort of assume, because everyone has blood in their body, that they're thinking the same, they're acting the same. They'll act upon things the same, and it's not like that. Anyway,
Very woke.
Hey, very well said, man. I think you're absolutely right, and I wish more people would see your point of view over here in the West.
You made a huge impact on me. I mean, I have to say, I was going into this thinking like, yeah, we'll have a lot of fun. I was not expecting to just be like, oh my god, and now I have to like research the whole country now and just be like, talk to people like, yeah, did you know that like they're just terrible there? And they'd be like, yeah, I kind of knew, and I'm like, no, I have specifics. They're actually terrible. Like it's not good. And I will give you my honest opinion here. I don't think you should be over there, but it's not your choice. You're a kid. But that just comes from a nationalist point of view. I don't think you should be over there. But that's again coming from, I know dick about Papua New Guinea. All I knew about Papua New Guinea was I assumed it had a lot of guinea pigs, and that was it. I was like, oh, it's like, that's where they export them from. That's their number one export is guinea pigs, and they bite you, even though they seem very docile. You pet them one day and then they bite you. And then I thought that was like really shitty. I'm like, they're training them to be terrible over there. I'll bet they're great otherwise. Now we got barrel fires and like, Scottish guys getting, drive-by'd by like, just cartels of I don't even know if they're 85s.
there was a time here when it was safe, and a lot of the old Papuans talk about it. Actually, when the Australians ran this whole country as a colony, or as a state rather, of Australia, it actually used to be beautiful here. Like, I've seen photos of this country in the 1970s or the 60s. A lot of the old guys here who lived in that time talk all the time about wishing that the Australians would come back. But a lot of Australian expats here have the outlook of these people should really man up and solve their own fucking problems. Yeah,
What's your
I don't know.
What's your opinion
It'll matter.
What's your opinion of the United States?
Cursed, very cursed, the most cursed country on the planet. Every time I go to the U.S., it's like every city is the same. Everyone thinks the same.
Well, it's just wrong, but okay.
In general, you've only really got two opinions in your country. And
Yeah.
you can only really vote for two different parties. There's really you don't really have any options. You stray away from those options.
But okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
Culturally, what do you think of the United States? I don't care about your political opinion because you're obviously a younger fella and you're a foreigner. And as soon as you are a non-U.S. citizen, I don't care about your political opinion of the United States. What do you think culturally of the United States since you've been here?
What do you mean culturally? I mean,
You really think that Chicago and Kansas City, Missouri are the same place.
No, I meant that more as in I didn't really specify. I meant that more as in they have the same look. Like all the buildings are the same. I mean, a lot of people, like I don't know how to word it properly, but
I know
I
what you're
don't really
getting at.
see
I
I don't
agree
really see a
with
lot of difference in different cities, especially in the West.
I'd like to. I'd like to see what you're talking about actually, because like I'm culturally illiterate and architecturally just a dum dum. But when I look at Chicago and then I look at Los Angeles, they're architecturally extremely different. But that might be just be because I live here and I've been to both places. But um, I've got to look up what Papua New Guinea freaking looks like then. Like, because I have no idea. You're like, oh, what's about Papua New Guinea? If somebody were to say to me 10 hours ago, what do you think about Papua New Guinea? I would go, I don't know. Isn't it like an island? I don't know. That would have been my entire analysis of
Do you
it.
think American cities are beautiful? I think they're like concrete hellholes.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, that's okay. Everybody in this chat besides me is wrong because we have beautiful cities in this country.
Where? Where?
Where?
So,
I
okay.
haven't traveled much around around.
I have traveled much. I've been to L.A., Las Vegas, Chicago, fucking every major city on the East Coast, and I can say I don't think America's very beautiful.
Ann Arbor. Okay, first of all, you need to travel by train. There's a lot of places that you don't see when you travel by train. Vegas is beautiful in its own right. I like it. I think it's neat. It's dirty and nasty, and it's a sinful place. But Ann Arbor, Michigan is absolutely gorgeous. Nashville looks amazing.
I will agree with Nashville. Very nice.
Nashville is great. Charlottesville, Virginia, we fucked that shit up, but it's a beautiful town. It's
That's actually
absolutely
true.
gorgeous. It's
That was-
so pretty. There are so many places like that in America, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Whether or not you like it, Seattle, great skyline. It's very pretty, has its own wonderful vibe to it. These places are very different, so I'm not saying you're attacking my country, bro, but I
would play devil's advocate in that when you leave some of these specific cities, and it depends on the state. And I live in Florida near Orlando, and outside of that specific city, there's positive things about some of the buildings there. Outside of there, it's all urban sprawl, where like you could go 10 miles north, 10 miles west, and it would look almost exactly the same. You're going to see the same couple of McDonald's, the same used car lots, the same businesses repeating and repeating and repeating as far out as you go without really any interesting architecture, interesting thing. Like, I basically don't live in a city or a town or a rural area. I just live in the middle of this, like, 50 to 60 mile long shopping district, you know?
Have any of you ever been to Appalachia? Because this.
Yes.
I have, yeah.
Alright, so where have
No.
you been?
Well, I actually grew up in West Virginia, which we were not dirt poor, but we were poor, and it was the most beautiful place, and I love West Virginia so much, except you'll get to drive, and then you'll see the mountaintop,
Pisses
mining.
me off so much.
Yep, beautiful mountains with just the whole top cut off. The coal mining over there is not good, and the water's all polluted. I mean, they've really done a number on that, and they can because it's just poor white folks that that they're just happy to have a job. But that's I guess that's that is part of West Virginia is part of white Afghanistan, I think, right?
Right, yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm from Kentucky, and I can say I've spent not all of Kentucky is in Appalachia, but I've spent much time in Appalachia, and I gotta say it is very depressing to see, because I imagine I've driven through West Virginia, but I've not like spent time there. I would imagine it probably looks the same in most towns, but in eastern Kentucky, it's like every building is like fucking plastic. like vinyl, and it's just, or it's concrete, but it's more often vinyl, and I think it's just hideous. I hate seeing the buildings. The nature is beautiful,
Mhm.
but like any man-made fucking creation in Appalachia, like it's cursed, dude. Like even
Yeah.
like seeing churches, and I mean they don't have the money to build anything nice, so I'm not like judging the people, but just like if you see like a fucking square box vinyl place that's supposed to be a church, it's just like very blackpilling, very sad place to live.
Well, I will say, as a white bill for the country, I was up in Northwest Georgia last week meeting up with my GF, and there was like a church near where she lived, which I won't dox, but it's near this like creek, and it's like wooden, and it was built, and it did really feel like an America of old type of scene, where it was like this white wooden church in the middle of this wilderness. There was no like big concrete parking lots. It was all grass. It was all trees. There was a stream. There were train tracks. It was really beautiful. I would say there are a lot of beautiful parts of America, but there is a really large I would say, I don't know if it's the majority, but at least like somewhere around half of my experience in America has been that kind of urban sprawl, repeating buildings. There's literally like a little town center in my district of Greater Orlando, Florida, has this little like these buildings that they are 2 stories, but there's literally nothing on the second story. They have painted on windows and like
Oh my
windows that go to
God.
nothing. It looks like a movie set. It literally looks like a movie set.
Well, okay. When it comes to trying to find absolute like Americana and wonderful things, it's in Middle America. There are wonderful places out there, but I mean, New England is just a fantastic place because that's honestly where America started. Boston is a shitty place, but Boston is an amazing place. I love Boston. It's no, I mean, why would you not? Baltimore, also just like a great place. It's totally destroyed now. But if you're looking for architecture, that's the place to be.
I was in the Northeast recently, and I went from Massachusetts to DC, and I did see that is the only part of the country that I feel like is really like. I mean, it's the older part, so that's where stuff like people actually gave a shit of making it look nice. And Connecticut, I mean, I think Connecticut's like in the top 5 richest states, and it is like I couldn't believe how good even like these like bridges that were passing over the roads, like even those had like fine detail carved into them. And the second you cross out of the Connecticut border into New York State, it's like they're these like rusty, shitty metal things. Like I took note of it because there's so many bridges going over the road, and like each one like had a unique like artistic design. And I also drove through like a town to go to a gas station in Connecticut, and it was also looked very nice. But that's just because it's all rich white people, and I mean that's why.
There are still historic sites and non-historic sites that you can see here in the United States that were built in the 1640s, dude. Like working, what are they called when they have the little water, it's a big circle.
A mill.
Mill, yeah, they got that thing going.
Water mill,
yeah, especially out in Pennsylvania, there are tons of these places. We do have these places, and these are places that do need to be preserved. We need to take a little bit more pride in our historic sites. But I mean, the fact that like when this country started, we've still got Lincoln's Cabin, which is that's not when the country started, but whatever. But like, we still have Lincoln's Cabin, just totally preserved. So I'm sorry, I'm getting defensive, Papua New Guinea fella. But we try our best. We are a very young country, and we are the best country because nobody does barrel fucking killings here except in California, probably.
God, but you know that like alt-right, like the Wignat Twitter pages that share like capitalism versus tradition or whatever, that meme where they show like this like capitalist hellscape of like you see the McDonald's and Exelon and all these power cables going on across this big concrete and asphalt thing. Like I hate seeing that, dude. And I mean it's all just done because it's the cheapest and fastest thing to do. But like when you see like Europe or just Europe, and you compare it to here, it's I don't know. I don't think I could ever see America as beautiful.
Let me tell you this, fella. Let me tell you where we're headed. All right. Now, nobody likes seeing that that anti-aesthetic hellscape that it is, but it's only an anti-aesthetic hellscape because now we're starting to return to traditionalist values, which the architecture will follow. I mean, we're going to see a little bit of postmodern architecture, but that'll be cool. That's fine, I guess. But the whole reason that anybody's longing for that is because we've gone too far. So once we do get back to our American roots, our actual American roots, we're going to be fine. Our American roots are not based in capitalism. They're based in liberty. And there's a difference between liberty and capitalism. There's been that big, horrible marriage between the two. And I see that coming to an end. Like, if you do polling, most people don't like capitalism, so they automatically assume that they like socialism. Well, that's just not true. If you really get down to the root of it, people want to, have what they work for and the most of it. That's why the tax breaks are so popular. That's why Donald Trump is at 51% approval rating right now. We're gonna move towards a more cyberpunk aesthetic, unfortunately. I gotta say, Simon has that wonderful Blade Runner cyberpunk lighting, all of these things going on. That's what we're working towards, and you just gotta get used to it. But they're still going to want a big piece of our tradition. And if we can awaken rather than the European tradition, of which none of us actually connect with, don't lie.
I agree with you on that, yeah.
It's the American tradition of frontierism, of coonskin hats, of the fucking Alamo, of, Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin totally got piss-ass drunk and smoked weed together. That's a thing that happened, guys. It's a thing. They did. It's documented. They got fucking... Dude, Benjamin Franklin went out to France and just got fucking hammered and banged whores. And then, this is a guy that's on your $100 bill, all right? And they tried sending out, what was his name, John Adams. They tried sending him out as an ambassador, and they were like, fuck that, send back Franklin, he's way more fun. All right, I'm serious, this is a thing that happened. So, that's, if we can get more in touch with our American identity, that matters so much more. And we can do that with an amazing cyberpunk aesthetic now. We want that. We want the cyberpunk, guys. We can't do the frontier stuff. Let's have, a coonskin hat with, it can make Snapchats. I don't know what the kids are into. Something like that, though.
ANCAPs be like, dude, weed. Am I right, fellas?
It's not about. Look, it's not. You got to get rid of the whole capitalistic idea. I'm if you want to go economically, I'm a syndicalist. That's just seems to make the most sense to me. But I'm open for debate. But dude, you're not gonna be able to bring back any of these times because we don't have those 1,000-year-old castles. What we have is a few different parks, like Yellowstone. This is, amazing that we have preserved this land for so long, and we need to continue to do that. But you need to have a mix between anarcho-primitivism and archaeofuturism, I guess. Mm-hmm. I'm real drunk now at the point, but I love the glasses and I love the lighting. Simon's killing it. This guy, he knows the future right here. You gotta listen to him.
Hey, you have the right rhetoric though. I agree. We need that frontierism, that old Americana with that futurism. I really do believe it.
Gotta make the West wild again. Am I right, fellas?
That's actually true. That's actually fucking true. You gotta make the West a wild place.
Yeah, I want to live in Fallout New Vegas. I don't know if you guys have played Fallout New Vegas.
Oh man, hell yeah.
Yeah, specifically, I would really like to see Las Vegas get nuked. So yeah, I agree.
Balkanize the West. Am I right, lads?
Yes, brother.
Absolutely.
nuked York City. Am I right, fellas? God. Hey, has anyone ever been to
HH.
New York City?
I have.
Yeah,
I was just
when
there
I
a
was
couple
little.
days ago.
Yeah, I like going to New York City and seeing fucking big pipes of sewage, gas, and heat shoot up from the ground on every block, so that shooting up like shit air, so that it doesn't become too compressed and explode or whatever. Too much
Dude.
pressure in there. It's pretty
Dude,
epic.
I love. I will say on the architecture question, I went up to drove up to Long Island from Rockaway, Queens when I was up in New York City, and man, there are some beautiful houses. Really, really beautiful. Like all the way that they're built, the roofs all look like nothing I'd ever seen in Florida. So I do have to I gotta give props to the early settlers in New England and Long Island and all that. As far as Manhattan, I hated it. I hate like the gigantic like towers. Like I felt like I was being crushed by their presence. It was not, because I was thinking maybe this is getting a little bit too like spiritualist or whatever for your guys' taste, but I was standing in front of these like 1,000, 2,000, I don't know how tall like the Empire State Building or like World Center 1 is, but I was standing in front of these like mammoth buildings, and I was like, well, what are these really standing here for? What are they a monument to? Why are these buildings erected in with all the billions of dollars that are going into them and the maintenance and all this stuff? Like, how did these get here and why are they here? And for largely they're not here for like as monuments for the greater good of the people or to honor God or our ancestors or our nation. They're here for material wealth, material gain, and the capitalist system, which yeah, I don't know. I think that we need a cyberpunk future. I think we need an Americana cyberpunk future. It's gonna save us.
I think it's happening regardless. I think we're already in the cyberpunk future, except there's nothing cool. It's just like if you want to have a girlfriend, you better be 7 out of 10, and she's also gonna fuck other dudes on Tinder. But
Oh well.
that's the best you're getting.
Wow.
I mean, that's just how it is, folks. Dude, Tinder, fuck. If I could just abolish the internet, I'd do it right now. and television and radio. All those have to
okay. Well, radio, I'm a big fan. I've always wanted to be a radio guy, but that'll never happen because I'm a Nazi. But no. I have been thinking so much more recently about, good God, we got to get rid of the internet because think about it right now. Like, what good is the internet going to have in the future when registrars are getting rid of the Daily Stormer and now getting rid of allright.com? It eventually will turn on the leftists as well. This is going to be a total nightmare. And what we're going to have is this dystopian thing where these neoliberal individuals over in Silicon Valley are going to be in charge of all of this. And we just have to be okay with it. We ought to just shut the fucking internet down right now. It's already done all the good that it can do. We can get in touch in other ways. I'm pretty sure we all have everybody's other phone number, can text our way into getting it. In the 80s, they were phone freaking. They were doing things like that. We need to go back to 1980s hacking because that's so much cooler. Anyway, like Shadowrun is a wonderful tabletop RPG, and I think we can all live it if we just get rid of the internet, man. Like, the internet is a disaster. Because also think about it. Now everybody has an opinion. I've been a political guy my whole life, but now everybody has an opinion about it all the time instead of just having an opinion about it for about 6 weeks every 4 years. That's annoying. If we get rid of the internet, people will have to go back to fighting in bars instead of just Googling shit. They could just have a conversation for hours about the correct spelling of something. That sounds like a better use of our time.
Yeah, my take on it isn't even from the free speech angle, isn't from the politics angle. It's all from the sex angle, and I think that it is fucked our society so much. Just Tinder alone, like the paradigm shift in the last 5 years. It's like we've gone from, all right, I guess things are kind of not optimal, but it's still okay, to it's we are living in hell. Hell could not possibly be worse than what we're in, and the eternal thought must be crushed, and the internet
you know what?
enables.
I'll meet you halfway. Instead of completely getting rid of the internet, how about we just ban all women from the internet?
No, because here's the thing. Also,
that's good. We should do that.
It's the okay. In like 40 years ago, the edgiest like sex fetish you could have is, dude, did you hear that Johnny's gay? He had sex with another dude. Whoa. And that was like...
That wasn't the edgiest. 40 years ago, the edgiest thing was like, did you hear Johnny's into feet? You know. And now it's just widely accepted. It's, like, don't even...
It's just assumed. It's just assumed.
It's going to send you feet.
If you ain't sucking toes, you aren't getting hose. That's how it goes in 2018, boys.
That's true.
And,
I endorse.
Epic. But it's like, now it's like not even that weird for some dudes to be like, yeah, I can only get off to expanding tummy furries. I need furries that have giant, oversized, pregnant bellies. And I'm actually going to buy a suit that inflates. And I'm going to have sex parties where we're all wearing mascot costumes. And that's going to be...
That doesn't exist. That's not...
This is just
Bella?
There are pictures of it. There are IRL like yiffing parties that include vor.
That's not a thing. That's not real.
Also, do you think that HRT would have ever need to become a medical practice if we didn't have young boys? Well, it actually all came from Sailor Moon, if we're being honest. But if we didn't have lads looking at porn at a young age and then becoming freaks. It's honestly, like, if you look at any like, lots of trainees...
How are you gonna blame Sailor Moon for that, alright?
Okay, I want you, every trap on Twitter...
He's the one!
How many traps have a picture of them in a Sailor Moon cosplay or a Sailor Moon Abby? All of them.
I was gonna say, Rue is Inuyasha, so you'd have to throw that out as well.
Well, I only know one transgender person in real life, and they put their hair in they do not look like a woman at all. They are what one might describe as an absolute unit. They're about 6'2", and very wide. But anyways, they put their hair in the Sailor Moon buns, and also, like, one day, this person, like, fucking went on the rant talking about Sailor Moon, and, like, I didn't realize it at first. Like, I'd seen, trannies on the internet, on Twitter, like Sailor Moon, and this person puts their hair up like Sailor Moon. It's like all came together at once that trannies and Sailor Moon have a direct correlation, just like the Lion King and furries have a direct correlation. Am I the only one who remembers them?
I'm not entertaining this because I don't want my childhood totally ruined. But I know I'm just gonna say, yep, thanks Jews, and no, that's I refuse to accept that. I'm sorry. There's no, because I don't like Sailor Moon, but I liked watching it on Adult Swim, on Toonami. That was good. Was that trainee programming? Is that why we're in this fucked up situation?
No,
this can't be right. This can't be true.
Am I the only one who sees this? Okay, also, furries, Lion King, direct correlation, boys.
They are culturally appropriating Sailor Moon and anime and whatnot. These trainees, because the whole anime is not like HRT like light or anything like Saxon's trying to make it out to be. I think anime is one of the most useful things for the West. That could be a whole nother show. But as far as the trainee phenomenon, how it relates to Sailor Moon, I will say that allegedly in the Japanese version of Sailor Moon there was like a lesbian couple, and in the English version,
from Mars and Venus,
they censored it. Yeah. They apparently they censored it in the English version, which I find hilarious. So that's wholesome in itself. If you watch the English dub, and
have the weebs just outed themselves? Because this guy knew the characters that were. All right, let's pull this fella up on the screen. You're in the hot seat. The weeb has been found. The eternal weeb.
Hey, listen, I love the Anime Right. Go to animeright.news. They're my buddies. Listen, I'm not a big anime guy. I'm not a big anything but having to read show prep during the week and work guy. But you guys don't even know how much fucking work I do throughout the week. Just trying to deliver the real news, the things that matter. Like there was a black on a train, and it was unfortunate. It's, but I liked Sailor Moon, man. I was like, I was an Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop.
It all comes out.
Yes.
The Adult
Yes.
Swim, Toonami, things
Toonami.
Big O, all
Watch
that.
how the weeb recoils. I've been found out.
That-
No, I endorse full hardcore weeabooism. Like some people talk about how they're full like hardcore like revolutionary national socialist. I'm a full hardcore revolutionary national weeaboo, and I'm proud of that.
I need some memes that are like the fast wave, like return to. It'll say like return to tradition, and it's got like a picture of Sailor Moon behind it.
I'm gonna make that after this show.
All right, do it.
I feel that will be the most effective thing, and it may actually save white people.
I tried to explain this. Anime
everyone I
offers an
know-
escape for. Oh yeah, go on.
So I was gonna say, everyone I know who watches anime religiously has a body pillow and has no wish to date women. Like I don't know how.
So they're
how
the
that helps
best
the-
people.
Yeah, I have a body pillow. For a long time, I had no interest in dating women, and then I found the girl who was basically like an anime girl in real life, and I think that's what that's what the incels need to do. That's my personal cure. to
Anime
the
has
incel
two
question.
effects. It's either HRT light or it's vol cell conversion.
Vol cell
Also,
conversion,
actually,
yes.
there's a third thing. It's every muscle guy, every workout guy that's on our part of Twitter. It's not because like he wants to look nice for a girlfriend. Well, some of them it's because they are like pagans and they want to like honor Thor or something. But most of them it's because they watch Dragon Ball Z. Like, have you noticed? Like, do you think Sean is trying to get a girlfriend? No, he's trying to look like Goku, and I mean he's been successful at it. So, good for him.
Hey, Sean is a great guy.
True.
He has the trolling down to people have forgotten how you used to troll, and him and Beardson have like a very early 2000s troll strategy down that just works so well, and they're always right. I will give them that. They don't make bold predictions, but the predictions that they make are right, and they're predictions about quote unquote the movement. Which I hate calling it a movement because it sounds like poop. I think it's community. It's community. But they're always right about it. And I have to say, credit goes where credit is due. People have to listen to those guys because they've especially Sean, got eaten up by it, and he's just trying to give out the good word of like, hey, don't take the same path that I took. I mean, the way that he totally wrecked Christopher Cantwell was just,
That's
it's
beautiful.
it's just the truth, and I'm not telling anybody not to get into white identity or caring about, being a white person or whatever, but don't go about it in this weird, goofy way. And Sean, especially, he lived it, and he felt the backlash of it. And he came back with amazing critique, and now he's like talking about like fitness and stuff, which, you can tell I maybe not, not so much onto that, but, I don't care about that part of what he does, but he has very good critique of it, and everybody should probably pay attention to it.
Definitely. That's yeah. Sean was kind of the first person to direct me away from some of the alt-right craziness. I remember after Charlottesville, like I saw Sean's video on the Honeypot Studios channel where he was critiquing the Charlottesville situation, and my first instinct was like anger, because I was like, oh, you weren't there or whatever. And then after like a couple weeks, or maybe it was a month or something, I was following him on Twitter, seeing what he was saying, and just like every single thing he said like rang true. And I was just, it's kind of what convinced me to step back from that edge. Maybe a little bit too late because I was already a little bit doxxed at that point. But
I mean, aren't we all Zig Heil, right?
Yeah.
But no, I would actively encourage anybody, and maybe you would as well, Simon. I don't know, but I would actually encourage anybody to go ahead and get away from this before it's too late. It's too late for many people, and I'm not seeing a lot of these leaders backing up the folks that have been fucked over by Charlottesville.
Right.
What is this? Goodwin is facing 10 years now, and that is only because the propaganda and the crap that was pumped out to this guy, who he was a Vanguard guy, and Vanguard is whatever. I don't think they're around anymore. I will say Dylan was a great guy. I met him. He's a very nice person, but I don't believe they're around anymore. But they were. Everybody was fed this thing like we're all brothers. We're all like, yeah, this is great. Come out here and do this thing. And now there's a lot of guys that are facing serious consequences for things that were essentially just cultish Kool-Aid bullshit. And you're not hearing it from these major podcasts, these big premier podcasts, like The Daily Show, or even, I don't know. I imagine Radical Agenda, but Radical. Let's just be honest about what Christopher Cantwell is. He's Hal Turner 2.0. Okay, that guy is a compromised person. I don't know.
Gab.
Yeah, he's that's
he
what it is.
he regabs memes of him like murdering black babies, and like he put up that meme of like this little girl at an anti-gun rally, and he's like, I hope you're next.
Better, dude.
And that shit is hilarious, but that's. That either says one thing is you're not a serious person, as far as like trying to lead anybody, of which I can't blame anybody for. If he doesn't want to be, then that would be great. He probably should have made his intentions clear a long time ago. Not a serious person. He's not a serious leader, and that's the problem, is the lack of accountability for these so-called leaders. And I think that Christopher Cantwell got his life sucked up with a lot of these guys, and he was always a crazy person.
Yep.
But he got his life sucked up with a lot of these guys, and it ruined it. And there's a lot of lives that have been ruined over this quote-unquote alt-right crap. And it has not been beneficial for white people. It has been bad for white people. It's been actually beneficial for people that hate white people. And I think we all got sucked up in it pretty hard. But everybody here are not the people that are facing 10 years in prison for defending themselves against an N-word that attacked an old man with a mag light. But you're not hearing anything. You're not hearing anything about Goodwin. You're not hearing anything about that. Is that his last name? Is it Goodwin? I think it is.
I think it sounds right. One of my friends, who I don't think he was affiliated with any group specifically, but he was one of my Florida guys that I came up there with, was with that group that got attacked, and he got beat over the head with the mag light as well. Like, he was bleeding. He had to get stitches at the hospital. A couple of our guys stayed with him there while we were up in Charlottesville. He was bleeding out of like the top of his head, and the pictures are brutal. And he never pressed charges with it because he was afraid that his real name and identity would get out there if he tried to press charges against DeAndre Harris, and so he just tried to keep it on the down low.
Well, that's the thing too. Well, see, Simon, that's the thing too. Is there was a lot of assaults that happened that day on the other side of things, and people didn't want to report him because there is the actual backlash versus the made up backlash that the left makes up. Whether or not that would have ruined their lives, this, that, or the other. Just even getting named in that in the Charlottesville thing it's a bad look. That was a completely astroturfed, and we know this now. Actually, I'm not sure if you read the article, but it's come out now that the feds, I don't know, it was FBI or CIA, I can't remember. I think it was FBI. Had people on both sides over there, and somebody ended up dead. And instead of blaming the fucking government where the blame should be, or the Charlottesville police where the blame should be, it ended up being oh yeah, well, here's James Steele's. All right, so it was the biggest mistake that the alt-right could have made. I think we all know at this point it was astroturfed and completely set up by, intelligence agencies to be like, yeah, totally. Why don't all of these disagreeing factions, let's get TWP and ID Europa to come together because they totally agree. That's people want to blame Jason Kessler. It wasn't the point. He didn't organize that shit.
But I think what is most interesting about this is not even the event, which was horrible, and I don't know why anyone would think that it was a good idea to go to, but people went to it because they had people who came out as leaders saying, "Come to this event. It's going to be great." But the aftermath, I think, is what is more important. I think that tells you everything you need to know about the alt-right, and that is that they didn't look out for these people. Richard Spencer could have paid the bail of every single person who was in jail. We all know he's a multimillionaire, fellas. And what do? It's, bye-bye, sorry, don't care about you. I got to get on TV. Yeah, I got to be in a documentary. I don't need you anymore. Because these people are just grifters. They are using these people. Well, Spencer used it to stroke his ego. The TRS guys use it to fill their wallet so they can go hit up the buffet every weekend.
Oh, no. I will tell you about the TRS guys, which Spen was not there because he's a real smart person. Mm-hmm. Spen is a normal human being. Mike's getting hit with lawsuits. All right. I don't think that this is going to work out for him. I hope that it does. I hope it works out for everybody. Even that asshole Spencer, who I think is a real piece of shit. I hope it works out for him. I hope I don't want any of our guys, no matter, anybody who even is adjacent to agreeing with me. I don't want them in prison or anything like that, or financially ruined or doxxed or anything like that. I don't want that. I want them to know that I don't like them, but they probably don't like me either. So whatever. That's fine. We can just not like each other. But I don't want bad shit to happen to them. Dude, I think you're giving a lot of credit where credit shouldn't be due. These people, what they wanted to do, this was given to them as like, hey, come and speak. All right? And whether or not they had a lot or a little to do with the organization of the event, of which I think is very much a little, that's going to have to be chalked out in court. And that's going to be a nightmare. I'm not looking forward to seeing this. They would have taken credit for it if it would have went well, and that's something that I don't like. There's no accountability from any of the quote-unquote leaders in this piece of shit. It's a community. It's not a movement, guys. It's not. And if you want to debate me on it, feel free. I'm willing to do it. But it's a community, and that's why you've seen TRS actually say, yep, we're going to go ahead and step out of this and be a forum and have podcasts. They're a community, and I respect that. And they're doing very well, and I hope that they remain doing very well because without it, if they do have their registrar kick them off, which may happen. I mean, it happened to allred.com and it happened to Stormer, and now nobody cared when it happened to allred.com. You need to care about this. It can happen to TRS, and that's not going to be good for them because Mike relies on this. And you may disagree with him on a lot of crap, and I personally think he's kind of a big dumb idiot, but he's a smart guy. I don't want him to be, out on the streets or anything like that. That's not good. He's a nice enough person. I don't think he's ever fucked anybody over.
I think, okay, I don't know anything about him personally, but I feel like these, for the sake of LARPing and for the sake of getting donations for their podcast, these people have accidentally made a cult type thing where they've got these people to, let's go to a blue town in a blue state, and we're going to get all the most hated people in America, well, hated by the media in America, to come together and we're all gonna to be physically in the same space, and I bet it's gonna turn great in this blue town in this blue state. It's gonna work out just fine for us, and we're gonna all get on TV. And I'm sure we're gonna have great optics with all the fucking TWP and the NSM. They're gonna just really, they're gonna make people agree with us.
Say what you want about TWP. I'm not a Heimbach fan because he said he was going to come on my show, and then he just like bailed at the last minute by not texting me. But
Now
you know
he's in
what?
jail.
Hey, what goes around comes around. One of the two of us is doing all right. But it's no. I mean, he seemed like a nice enough fella. I mean, he really did. I was surprised by that, only slightly. But like, it was a big. It was a big. I guess let me get on TV grab or whatever. The reaction afterward is literally the only thing that matters. And I went on my tiny little show immediately afterwards, and I said, look, here's what the government is going to do. Here's what you need to look out for. Nobody looked out for it, and it just was crapped away. But without TWP, there is no ground game. All right, they were the only ones that were able to, get people on the ground, which is why Spencer had used TWP after IE stopped being his personal bodyguards. All right, like that's, again, just like as a guy observing, I'm telling you, this is exactly the way that I saw it. Was like they got mad at each other, and then so he went over to TWP, and then. TWP's not a thing anymore. And then, where's Spencer now? I mean, he's not. He should not be doing college tours because the colleges aren't going to back him up. When they said we're going to do Operation Homeland, I give it 3 months. It lasted 2. It's just. If you want some good fucking advice, maybe you ought to just I'll give you good advice on what's about to happen here. But this Charlottesville case, this does not look good. I mean, there are people that are going to go down for 10 fucking years, and that's because they drank the red Kool-Aid.
The red siege.
There is no. Well, they didn't read Siege. That wasn't popular then at the time. Now it's popular, and
they read Meme Magic by Baked Alaska.
Yes. No, let me tell you. You should read Siege. I read Siege, and it told me to get the fuck out of this movement, because everybody's doing the same stupid shit that didn't work before. I read Siege, and it made me realize that white nationalist movements will always fail. And I'm not gonna, go kill my mailman or anything like that. But it made me realize this is if Rockwell couldn't do it, what makes me think that any of these assholes are going to? Because we have no accountability. It's Oh, it wasn't my fault, said the Richard Spencer. Oh, I'm just an entertainer, said the Mike Enoch. Where are you guys? I'm sorry, I thought you were leaders. And the thing is, they don't want to be leaders when it comes time to be a leader. And to be a leader is to take responsibility for the failure of Charlottesville. And I mean, people can have a problem with that, but the thing is, I'm right, and there's no debating it. If you'd like to debate it, please, I'd love to. But that's the problem.
I think most people have come to terms with this at this point. In what fucking month is it? May of 2018. I think most people.
No, they're not though, because they're still saying Paul Nealon is a good guy.
Well, not the leaders, not the podcasters, and not the Gab users. Look, if you're on Gab, your IQ is sub 100, all right? I mean, it's probably sub 80. All right, the Gab is, it's hell on earth. Hell is going to look like Gab and Anglo's never shutting up. That's what it's going to be like.
Yeah,
And
Andrew Anglin's Gab profile is pretty good. He just posts anime OPs every day, about like 12 or 13 of them.
Andrew Anglin and Weave are literally the only old school people that anybody should ever trust because they're always right.
I
That's
think like
actually
most
true.
of this is like the alt-right saga has pretty much come to an end. I think that people have either fucked off or they're on the Fuentes train and they're ready for MAGA 2020, and that's what we need to do, fellas. If you're not on the you don't need to be counter signaling fucking Donald Trump. We got to be MAGA 2020. No more of the LARPing. No more of this bullshit, fellas. It is MAGA time, all right? The God Emperor.
I
is
am
gonna
on board.
say-
I am on board. Nicholas Fuentes is a very smart guy. I also love his former business partner, James Alsop, who just put out a wonderful video recently about Discord. Everybody has to get off of Discord. I was tuned into this a little, but he did a great job of actually just making the damn video. But yeah, you gotta get off of Discord. Guys, like, we tried the white identity thing, and then you know what happened? We sacrificed Ricky Vaughn at the altar, apparently.
Yeah.
And no, it wasn't worth it. And it's not going to win elections. So, please tell me if you're out there and you listen to my show, or you might be interested in listening to it, please tell me who your local favorites are. I will look into them, and I will heavily endorse them and donate money to them, for fuck's sake. We gotta win in 2018. If we lose the House, we're not as screwed as McFeel says that we are, but it's not a good look. Also, we're not going to lose the House, and anybody who ever tells you we're going to lose the Senate is a crazy person. But we're not going to lose the House, I don't think. But let's try to get some actual nationalists in there, or nationalist adjacent individuals in there. That's what we need to do. I don't care about you. Like, but brother, what about our normal? I would like more white people. Nigga, I'd like more white people too, but you know what? If the fucking log cabin Republicans and the blacks for Trump want to vote for our people, I'm gonna do it. Because if you incrementally win, then you actually win. Otherwise, I don't know, buy a bunch of freaking bump stocks and go join Adam Waffen. I'm on board with that too.
If you're not on the Kanye train, if you're not on the MAGA train, I mean, what are you doing, fellas? All right. If I see any tiki torches in 2018, 2019, look, you see this Doge on the screen right now? You're going into cringe compilation for sure, fellas. All right.
Mhm.
I don't want to see. Oh fuck! It closed. You see? Look at my cool animated backgrounds. Okay, it's back.
I do wanna say every word spoken by Bryden tonight really rings true. I have to say it. I have to say it. Especially with that last rant, 100% agree. And I will say one thing about Charlottesville, in that I don't necessarily blame like Enoch or Spencer for bringing people to Charlottesville. Specifically, I absolutely blame them for a lot of the other things, and I've blamed them very heavily on other shows before. We could, we don't have to get into that. We've been going along already. But I think specifically with Charlottesville and with the alt-right and a lot of the mistakes that we made post 2016 almost came. Maybe they were orchestrated, and I do believe there was an element of federal or some sort of orchestration by people who are against us involved. But I think that there was something almost magnetic about Charlottesville, that people felt like almost drawn to this idea without intuitively, without even thinking about the logistics or what could happen or the costs or anything. I think there were tons and tons of people who were almost intuitively drawn to this idea of like, for over a year now, we've had like these ideas that we've all learned, and I think that this whole alt-right thing that I think has come to an end is the natural response to having all of this new information that none of us had any idea about thrown at us in 2016. Most people I've talked to in this thing, and me included, got into this whole thing because of the Trump election. And with Trump, we incrementally, little bit by little bit, learned more and more. And, some of us took that deeper dive when we were spending time on Poll or these other parts of the internet that really was like had no idea about this stuff. All of this new things that we had never, and you don't know what to do with this new information. Some people short circuit; they have no idea how to handle all this, and we, and so maybe there wasn't the strategy in there. Maybe there wasn't that sort of planning that really should have been there. And I think that the alt-right that you saw after 2016 was almost like a natural, manifestation of all of that confusion to these ideas. Like, oh wait, hold on, this one specific group of ethno-religious people, run the world. Basically, that's what I don't know what to do about it. I maybe I'll go, take a sign or take a flag down to my street and start yelling about it.
Show him that West Bellamy is a N-word.
Yeah, look, back in Charlottesville, I thought when whoever it was from TRS, I think it was Larry Ridgway, who brought that sign that said West Bellamy is. Yeah. Oh, I'm losing my webcams. Sorry, fellas, my phone just shut off. I'm using. Okay. All right. Anyways, I think we'll lose my webcam in a second. But anyways, I think that we really, like, after Charlottesville, like after the 2017 event, like there was a huge push into IRL activism after that huge catastrophic failure, and anyone who was pushing for that afterwards, I think, really should never be listened to for advice ever again. Because I think that's where, yeah. Because I was listening to that. That's where I think the podcast hosts and the Spencers and other people really, really screwed people over. It's because before we were even done, even partially cleaning up the huge mess that we created in Charlottesville, Virginia. We were wanting to go to D.C. to protest another thing, or we were wanting to go down to Gainesville and all of these sorts of things. It was insane.
Okay. Well, wait. To be fair, the anti-Syria strike protest by the alt-right with Spencer and Enoch was that was, to say the O word, good optics. That was good. I liked that, and I was impressed. I was like, oh shit, maybe this is not going to be a disaster. and then everybody was like, you know what? No, we're going to fuck this up entirely.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I think that we kind of learned from our mistakes. Those who were in the know about all these issues about the quote unquote JQ or quote unquote white identity. Now I think that there's a lot of people who realize, okay, well, we messed up really, really badly. We gave the enemy tons of ground. We've had a lot of setbacks, but there is this new opportunity coming up with the 2018 elections and the 2020 elections, and I think that's where we're really going to see some great stuff happen. I am optimistic in that. We made our failures, and they were really, really, really big mistakes and failures early. But I think that with all these people who have this knowledge that none of us had in 2016, but now also having this experience with politics and this experience with political strategy, I think that can be really organized and funneled into something really positive going forward. And I think that the Nick Fuenteses of the world have it definitely right on what to do with that.
All right, fellas, let's wrap it up. Let's close it off.
Okay, sorry. I could go on. I mean, if you want to go on about 2018, but no. Let's save that for another day.
Give a final statement, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You can go first. Brett.
Please. Go over to the Spreaker account that hopefully is down here. If not, you can find it at A Actual Racist. Every Monday and Thursday you can hear the Right to Bryden audio only podcast, but on Sundays and Wednesdays, both at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we are now doing it live, where you can just see us do the damn thing live. We cover the news, we cover politics, we talk about the weather, and we talk about food, most importantly. But mainly it's a lot of ranting about the old politics. So if you'd like a lot of hot takes that contradict everything that Mr. Black-pilled McFeels is saying right now, I got beef with him at the moment. He needs to get a little bit more white-pilled. And again, I hate the whole pill thing, because trannies made it. That's where the whole thing comes from. But if you want to feel good about life, and if you want to understand what's actually going on in a real sense, you can tune in to Ride to Brighton on the Third Rail Productions Spreaker account. So Third Rail from TRS.
Epic. All right, now I want to say, fellas, I think we can come to the conclusion. No more. Don't listen to any retard. Don't listen to any rich person that's got nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And let's listen to Nick Fuentes because he's never wrong. And also, if you see something a little weird, go check out Sean and Beardson. They're usually pretty accurate about what's up. And if you are doing something that looks really cringy or retarded, they're gonna make fun of you. So then you know how to not be a cringy retard. And I'll make fun of you too. Like if you want to send me something, be like, hey, do I look like a dumbass? I'll say yes or no. And it's a service I'm willing to do.
Before we get out of here, though, can we hear a final word from our Papua New Guinean friend?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of listening while you guys have been talking about Charlottesville. Sorry, I haven't been talking a lot. I'm glad that I got to change some minds, and you guys were really patient when I was talking, and I'm glad I got to be on. Thanks, Saxon.
Yeah, bro.
I have, if anyone actually wants to follow me on Twitter, it used to be, my old account got banned like a week ago. It's at Marks Raped Me. So.
What, MARX?
Yep, Marks Raped Me on Twitter. Give him a follow.
Yeah. I just made a fucking Patreon or whatever last night. Just if anything happens here, because APEC is coming up the road with Trump coming here, and that's gonna be pretty chaotic, fighting in the streets and stuff. But yeah, no, it's been really good. I would have talked more if I actually knew what you guys were talking about, but. No, you guys are cool. I'm glad. I changed your outlook, even a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, you just made my outlook of the world worse. So I don't know if it's like you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm glad that I did that. Like, no. Now I want even less of you people around me.
I love talking to people with fringe perspectives, or just unique perspectives of being in a unique situation. Like Papow Boy. Maybe next time we'll have some right-wing trannies. Maybe next time we'll have some gay bodybuilding pagans. Who knows what could happen on the Gulag.
Please no.
It's a wild ride out here. And so fellas,
I didn't know it was coming back. I mean,
All right, so that's it. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching, and goodbye, cunts.
Have a good night.